be. It's a non-starter if the Chiefs don't beat Buffalo for the number 1 seed. Because going to, in my opinion, let's say the Bills only get to 13. I actually think 14 is in play for the Bills this year. But let's say the Bills get to 13. Well, then you can't get to 13 with a loss. One, I don't know if you can mathematically even get to 13 based on how I think the season. But also,
you have to beat the Bills no matter what.
You would also have to get to 14 in that scenario. So you have to beat the Bills even to keep the window. You agree? Yeah, I mean it's a no-brainer. And then yes, I would agree with just the overall path for the schedule. I get it. Upsets happen. It's just knowing where the Chiefs are at in their own schedule. This was before the 0-2 start for Kansas City. As you said, we were discussing this before the year on the season. It's set up very nicely. I can tell you even where the betting markets are at. Maybe you think if you're someone that's saying, no, the Chiefs are still going to be the 1 seed, well, there's a great betting opportunity then for you if that's where you're at, because Buffalo is minus 200 to be the number 1 seed in the AFC right now over at DraftKings. LA Chargers, somehow, if you believe that's going to happen, plus 550. The Chiefs are plus 950 to the 1 seed, and then the Colts at 15-1. Those are the only 4 teams that even have a chance. You could argue it's really only between 2 or 3, but those are the 4 teams that have a chance based off of record and everything like that to get there. I wouldn't bet on Buffalo at minus 200 now. It's too late for that party, in my opinion. But
yeah, you should have bet it before the season, probably. But
it sets up nicely. And look, it's okay. Like I'm not. The Chiefs have proven under Patrick Mahomes they can win on the road. So this is not the same convo we had a couple years ago where we'll find out.
We genuinely didn't know at that time because they never had to face anybody on the road.
Yeah, I would enjoy the AFC title game in Kansas City as much as anybody. But if they have to go to Buffalo and it's the final game at that stadium before they move into their new awesome brand new stadium across the street or whatever it is in Orchard Park. It'd be pretty cool if you got to knock them off in their last home game.
And ruin the end of that stadium. Look, that stadium hasn't seen like some tons of success.
That Ravens game was such a swing for the Bills. Week 1, it was a week 1 game, but it meant so much. We knew it at the time. If the Ravens would have beat them, completely different conversation. But they have tiebreakers over Baltimore. If they beat the Chiefs, it's over, as you said, at that point. And other than that,
matter. They could go 4-0, and if they beat the Chiefs, it's probably over. Yep. The only one I can make an argument where the Chiefs could get away with 3-1 over the next 4 games, as in maybe they drop either this one or they drop the Lions game but win the other 2. The only way I could say get away with that is if you could tell me ahead of time New England upsets Buffalo.
Yeah,
you gotta be within 2 before the game starts. Well, if they lose to New England and you win all 4, well then that game might be for the one. For all practical reasons, that might be the biggest swing game in the 1 seed conversation because you pull back even with them and everything else in between. For the same reason, the Chiefs, after all of the way this started, this weekend, there's a chance the Chargers lose to Washington, especially because Jaden Daniels is healthy. Mm-hmm. It's not a guarantee by any means, but it's certainly plausible. And it's possible the Chiefs beat the Jags. And then you're like, you did all that work for nothing. You're right back where you started. You've made up no ground. That's what you're counting on to get back to Buffalo.
I hope we're going into the Bills game in a couple weeks or a month or whatever and saying that it's the biggest game of the year and all that because of the 1 seed convo. But I still, right now, if I had to guess across the remaining games, I still think the last game against the Chargers, the second matchup against the Chargers this time at Arrowhead will be the biggest game of the season. I get why when we get to Bills week, it's probably going to feel like, all right, here we go. Number 1 seed convo, biggest game of the year. I still tend to think that with where the division is trending, the Chiefs-Chargers game will end up being the biggest game of the season for Kansas City later on in the year.
Most likely, because at this point, it seems pretty unlikely that that won't matter for the division as far as that game.
And just for whatever reason,
I will say there's been a couple of times, there's just been a couple of times where I thought the division, that game was going to matter, and it didn't.
For sure.
But this feels kind of different in that year, especially because the Chiefs gave a team a 2-game head start and a tiebreak.
Not to mention, oddly enough, we know how dominant the Chiefs have been against Buffalo in the postseason. For whatever reason, the regular season, the Bills take those typically. They've won the regular season matchups. I don't know why. They just have. The Chiefs then get them when it matters most. So the Chiefs get them. Even in Buffalo, when we do our hits with our friends up at our WGR sister station, we have Mike Shope on. I'm sure we will here when they get ready to play him. We go on those shows too, and they'll even admit like they want the win, but also like they recognize like, yeah, it doesn't matter. Like we know we have to beat you guys in the playoffs. And Josh Allen winning over Mahomes in the regular season, okay, nobody cares.
Yeah, I'm not going to take, like if they lose the 1 seed, I kind of thought they weren't going to have the 1 seed from the beginning. I still think they need to win the division and play some home games. I'm not saying the Chiefs can't. Let's say they were the 6th seed, go on the road for all 3 games and go to Super Bowl. They obviously can. They're very capable of that. More than any team probably in NFL history capable of that. But it's not the preferred path. The division is still the easier method for the same reasons we know, which is if you're the 2 seed, no 7 seed is beating a 2 seed. As a matter of fact, those games have mostly been ass kickings because there's a decided difference between being the second best team in the AFC and at home and being the 7th seeded, Miami Dolphins from a couple of years ago when they had to come to Kansas City in the freezing cold. There's an obvious separation between the levels of teams there. The Chiefs' schedule, again, is harder than the Bills all season. So, it's always going to be an uphill climb. But that's why, in order to even be in the conversation for the 1 seed, I think they have to go undefeated until they face Buffalo. And Buffalo's only got 3 games versus the 4 Kansas City will have. Washington and Vegas are the other 2, by the way. Washington won't be some easy Monday night football game. The Raiders certainly look worse than they did, maybe in their slightly more competitive games. But all of those games are losable. Divisional games, losable. At home, probably not. But Detroit, Jacksonville, and Washington certainly are. Those have been good teams.
Yeah, from the 816, I can't wait to text you. I told you so when Buffalo isn't the number 1 seed. I hope you can. I hope you can text that in January. I would love for that to be the case, honestly.
Happy to be wrong, actually.
Yes, this is one of those things. Gladly will be wrong if it means the Chiefs, after all this, after all the talk and the narrative and everything and how it's set up for Buffalo and how, Josh Allen this, Bills this, Chiefs are done and all that. If after all that, the Chiefs somehow find a way to still get the number 1 seed in a year where they got off to an 0-2 start, trust me, I will enjoy that quite a bit.
At the quarter pole part of the season, which is where we're at now, you look at the Chiefs' schedule, and as it sits right now, there only appears to be 3 easy games on their schedule the rest of the way. That's it, 3. And that's calling the Raiders easy twice, for what it's worth. The Raiders, and the Titans.
The Texans, I think.
Oh, the Texans. Okay.
Let's add them. Can we add them? Because
I'll take the Texans in. That's fine.
Look terrible.
We'll take 4. Dallas, the only reason I don't include them is people probably aren't paying attention because they, CeeDee Lamb got hurt and mostly they're a laughing stock because of Jerry Jones. Dak Prescott is playing incredible football. And I know that nobody's going to want to hear that in Dallas because they're not winning enough games. Dak Prescott is playing as good a football as any quarterback is playing in football right now.
He consistently is underrated. People hate on him. I don't get it. 2 years ago, before the injury, he was one of the top MVP candidates. We've had this convo about Dak Prescott whenever we do our top 10 QB rankings, and people think I'm insane every time I include him at number 9 or 10 on the list. I think he's one of the more underrated quarterbacks, and you're right. It's because he's in Dallas. And you do have to win. Goes back to our convo we were having with Drew at some point, right? You have to win football games. But I think anybody that watches what's been going on in Dallas this year, last year, the year before, frankly, with Jerry Jones for the last 20 years, you understand the hurdles that he also is dealing with. And right now he's doing it without CeeDee Lamb. And
Pickens
looks great.
have a nice year.
He's only on a 1-year deal, so he's setting himself up to try to get paid in the offseason. We'll see later on. The best thing that's actually happened for him is with CD being out, he is clearly getting all the targets. The issue is always going to be with CeeDee Lamb. Would George Pickens be upset if he's not getting targeted enough later on? Right now, CeeDee Lamb's going to be missing what do they think? Another 3 or 4 weeks.
So he's going to have a chance. And then that offense, and again, Dak Prescott's playing really. So I wouldn't call that one of the easy ones. So 4 games of the 13 remaining. That means 9 difficult games, and some of those being against very difficult opponents. And look, some of that depends on how serious you take the Jags. I'm not saying it's not an easy game, but it depends on how seriously you take the Jags, and some of that decision will be made for me once they play there. One other real bright spot for the Chiefs so far this year has been, obviously, we've mentioned their defensive play. We have probably to this point, and I was, you try to wait because you don't want to assume a small sample size means this is who this player is going to be.
You remember what Romeo Crennel said about assuming.
That's true. I don't want to do that. I'm not assuming this guy's going to become a future all-pro at the position. Noel Williams has been enlightening in the first 4 weeks of the season. Over the last 3 weeks, he has a 90-plus Pro Football Focus coverage grade. We see the physicality. We see that he's near the ball. We see that he's knocking it away. Noel Williams has made me forget that Christian Fulton even got hurt. After week 1, when Quentin Johnson tore him up, and Noel Williams was barely on the field, we were like, I don't know, man. This corner group going to be tough if they're not going to have the guy they need to be healthy, and they're going to get hurt. And all of a sudden, Chiefs did it again? Are we just right back? They just found another corner in the draft? No worries, problem solved. His knock coming out of college from some players was that he wasn't physical enough. Like, he was good at coverage, but he wasn't a physical enough corner. I'm like, wait, that was what they were saying about him? I didn't watch him in college, admittedly, but I've seen him now, and that certainly doesn't seem to be what's going on here. I think they did it again. I'll be honest. I think they did it again. They found another guy who can cover. They found him later in the draft, not in the first or the second round, but third or fourth, wherever they need to find a guy, 6th round, 7th round, 4th round, they find him.
And we're only a couple games into his career, and he's getting more reps. He's obviously going to get better throughout that experience, and that's what's exciting about Noel Williams. He's been really, really good in the playing time he's got as their nickel corner. I think that, Steve Spagnuolo obviously is starting to trust him a bit more, and you're building depth at that position. That's the biggest thing, because at some point, I do think there will be a point later on where Christian Fulton is healthy enough to practice and healthy enough to be on a field. And now you've got some options if injuries occur. I mean, we've discussed this. We see it play out. Unfortunately, there will be somebody else in the secondary missing a game or two later on this year. It just happens. Injuries happen in the NFL. You hope it's not for a long period of time. And so you'll need that depth. And now you're building it. Long term, you got to be excited about Noel Williams. But even if you're just talking this year, the reason why this all works, though, as much as this is a convo about Noel Williams, and it should be, he should be getting props for his play, this, to me, is also about Jalen Watson. I keep bringing him up the last few days because,
in fairness, he's been very good on the
Williams
outside,
is playing nickel corner. He's not like Chris. We thought Christian Fulton was going to be the number 2 corner heading into the season, or heading into training camp, I should say. We thought he'd be the number 2 corner, allow McDuffie to move around. Jalen Watson is why this is all working right now. Like, McDuffie's the best corner on the team, duh. But Noel Williams being the nickel corner is possible because Jalen Watson is playing as well as he is as the number 2 corner. It is all coming together because of that. That's a testament to Dave Merritt and Steve Spagnuolo there in the secondary. But Noel Williams, you should be really excited about what you're seeing. And if an injury were to happen to Jalen Watson or somebody later on in the year, maybe you feel more comfortable about the situation.
It's hard to ignore it at this point. And some of it, it's just like, is it coaching or is this just the position that Brett Veach evaluates better than any other team in the NFL?
It's probably both. That's always the answer.
This is absolutely his highlight.
Dave Merritt.
Like, he just it's a slam dunk contest of corners. They trade him away. Look, they've had 4 corners leave their organization that are still actively starting for other teams. Like, Shavarius Ward is still a starting corner for a good defense in the NFL. L'Jarius Sneed was a starting corner for a defense in the NFL. He just lets him leave. He just lets them go, and they're still starting corners for other teams, and it doesn't matter. Here comes Jalen Watson, a 7th-round pick. And look, I know they don't like Joshua Williams, but he certainly played for him. Noel Williams, again, not Trent McDuffie. And the one time they took a big swing is when they traded up for a corner. The guy's an all-pro. Like, I think some of this is evaluation. I think that they got a really, really good eye. And look, would I prefer that this is how they were this good at drafting defensive ends and they could just take guys in the 4th round and they're just instant contributors? Sure, that'd be great. But to have one of the 2 most important defensive positions, because we would argue edge rusher or pass rusher, number 1. Corner's probably number 2.
Yep. Oh.
Teams are constantly in search of it because it weakens that back into a point that teams can't cover the way they want, especially because wide receivers are so good. And rookie wide receivers come in the league and just immediately look like stars. You need guys who can cover. And so Noel Williams being already there, it just says a lot about kind of where they are as a team. I'm once again impressed. Kudos, Brett Veach, for once again finding, I guess, another starting corner.
We'll be talking some college football a little bit later on in the show, and our college football coverage on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by Bud Light. Bud Light and Tanners are teaming up to make every college game day legendary. Every Saturday, rep your college team. Catch every play and enjoy $15 buckets only at Kansas area Tanners locations. Bud Light and Tanners, from the stands to the bar, your game day headquarters. We'll talk a little Royals baseball actually in 12 minutes or so. Still continuing some of the offseason conversations from what J.J. Piccolo and Matt Quatrero had to say, and I want to talk about one of the younger players on the team and looking ahead to 2026 in just a bit. But we all know so far this season there's been so many quarterback injuries. Heck, tonight Mac Jones is playing again because Brock Purdy still dealing with is it a toe injury, I believe, at this point in time for him. We all know all the backup quarterbacks have been starting. How many of them are year 2 quarterbacks? Obviously, J.J. McCarthy is banged up, but he's a year 2 quarterback. We're starting to see Drake May and the Patriots. So they got an opportunity to show maybe some improvement if they can hang with the Bills on Sunday night. Yeah. And there was just some numbers to show you that out of the second-year quarterbacks so far this year, we know what Jaden Daniels did a year ago, and he's been banged up. But Drake May has taken a nice leap. Some of the numbers are showing that at this point in time.
As of right now, I think you could pretty clearly argue of the second-year quarterbacks, he's the only one who's improved. Now, Jaden Daniels is kind of an incomplete storyline at the moment because he's been injured, so we can't really make those determinants. Caleb Williams improved a little, but not as much as I would have liked. It was an interesting study for me because when you start looking at it and the second-year quarterback so far, I always find year 2 and 3 to be the most telling of where a quarterback is. I've seen a lot of quarterbacks be good in year 1, a lot. or at least good enough that everybody talks themselves into, oh, just wait. Wait till they figure the league out. They'll take a leap forward. And to this point, J.J. McCarthy, he didn't start last year. He's looked awful, and now has been hurt.
He's played 8 quarters of football, basically, right?
Yeah. And one quarter was good. The other 7 were bad. Michael Penix Jr. had one random game where he was good, and the rest hasn't looked viable. Bo Nix has looked way worse. Like, he's taken...
Monday night, he was much better, though.
Yes, but, like, just overall, like, on aggregate, you're right. Of the 4 games, he's played one really well. Rattler, who cares? And then the other 3 guys, which are Core, May, Williams,
Spencer Rattler's been better.
He's definitely been better, but it's also that's not going anywhere. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but he's in a weird... You still got to recognize him.
He's not been a disaster by any means, but kind of what you were saying, Cody, like, no, Spencer Rattler's not the long-term answer there. Everybody knows it. I still wouldn't be surprised later on this year if Tyler Shuck ends up starting. But Spencer Rattler, like, he's been better than most expected in this role, but he is basically going to end up probably being a backup in his career in the NFL when it's all said and done.
I mean, yeah. I think that's
now
true.
that you've gotten a good sense of this, I think what's interesting is, like, starting to predict where these guys are going to land. Because now we got a quarter of the second year, and we're seeing where guys are getting better. So far, EPA per dropback, that's one metric, as in the efficiency every time they step back. The 2 most improved guys are Drake May and Caleb Williams. And it's like, is that how we see them going forward? No. Obviously, I think Jaden Daniels is still...
He's healthy. He'll be fine.
He went to the NFC title game. I can't be eliminating him. But I think it seems fairly obvious now that Drake May could be just as good or not significantly better than Caleb Williams. How can we ignore it at this point? He has taken the biggest leap forward in what ends up being a big swing year. He's got a functional coach. He doesn't have some dummy running the show. You put him with a functional coach. He still doesn't have, I would say, tremendous weapons there in New England. You get him a true number 1 with a functional coach. I think Drake May is, like, when I look at all the second-year quarterbacks, I think that this is where, like, the numbers line up with the eye test. He has looked like the most improved. And he's looked like the most improved by a pretty wide margin in the early going, admitting again that Jaden Daniels' story is incomplete this year.
Drake May looks better. And if you look at the weapons that he has, he still doesn't have the same arsenal that a Caleb Williams has, if that's the argument. I would say, I don't know if I'm willing to go all the way there the way you are already, that definitively Drake May is going to be a better quarterback than Caleb Williams. I still believe there's a ton there with Caleb Williams that I like more than Drake May, bigger picture, ceiling, and all that. At some point, yeah, we're going to have to see it.
Drake May's ceiling is still higher.
Caleb Williams' ceiling is still higher.
Or Caleb Williams, but I think Drake May's going to balance out to be the better.
He might, and he might be. I don't know if I'm there yet to say, like, it's already, like, clear that that's going to happen. And some of it is still based off, because we're very early in both their careers. Some of this is still based off of the draft projection and how we view these guys coming in the league. Drake May, the biggest, I think, argument for him right now is he doesn't have a ton of offensive weapons still. Whereas Caleb Williams, we know, has DJ Moore and Adunze and Luther Burden eventually gets in the fold more, and obviously has an offensive mind that I know you definitely don't like the Patriots offensive coordinator situation. So
I don't. I actually think Drake May's actively having to work against
I think that's why you also view him more, because you're not high on. I will still say McDaniels as an offensive coordinator has been very good in his career, not as a head coach, but as an offensive coordinator, he's been very good.
He'll get some credit for this because he's averaging, Drake May, 75 more passing yards per game. He's getting, his interception rate has halved. Yeah. He already has half of the total touchdowns he threw all of last year.
He's been a top 6 quarterback in multiple categories.
In a third of the starts.
Yeah. I want to see him do it against the Bills. It's funny. I want to see him do it against the Bills. The Bills defense actually stinks. The Bills defense stinks. So this is an opportunity. But to this point, and you can push back on the same thing with Caleb Williams. Sure. But the Patriots, they played the Raiders. Okay, they lost. Joke. Caleb Williams and the Bears beat the Raiders. But I'm just saying, Dolphins. Okay, Steelers. They lost, but they only scored 14 points against, and then they obviously just beat up and looked awesome against the Panthers. I'm just saying, it's
the same for the Bears, but yeah, they're in a similar spot. That's the thing. What's funny is, like, it's good to have this conversation now, because if Drake May goes toe to toe with Josh Allen on Sunday Night Football, well, then everybody's going to be saying that about Drake May, and there'll be no more conversations about it. He does appear to be the most improved player. Based on the text line, were you guys talking about my hair again on the morning show?
They asked about your hair during the betting segment I do with them on Thursdays.
So
they said, did he dye it? They just right at the very end. And I said, he says no. I go, I mentioned it because people were asking. I said it looks darker, and I still think it looks darker.
I think now it's in your head.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, we need a true side by side of a photo.
I got to go back.
We need a high res. The problem is we need a high res photo from 3
Can we
weeks,
just pull?
3
Can we
weeks
just pull
ago.
a video stream from like a month ago?
Yeah, we need that from 3 weeks ago, a month ago, whatever, into now. It just either that or it's maybe when you get your hair cut, it'll be more evident. Maybe it's just thicker. It definitely is darker. There's less. There's I can't on the right side of your on the right side of your head, you could see it just looks it's thicker maybe.
Maybe it's just longer. Maybe that's what it is. You're used to seeing more.
Bob and Dusty think so as
Scout.
well. A few people, someone on the text line said people are now watching the stream closely. Yeah, I don't know. Someone says Cody's gaslighting
I'm not
us.
gaslighting.
Wow.
I didn't. I honestly, I
Bob
just
said,
admit.
yeah, Bob did say he's convinced that. He's like, yeah, he's heard that you use a different shampoo. And he's like, yeah, just for men's shampoo.
That's the obvious joke. I don't know how to show you credit card receipts, but that's not what's going on here. It just apparently looks different.
Yeah. I mean, it's good if that's what happened. Either way.
No, it just looks like my hair.
I didn't know. Professor Tapp said, you know what? The students, I needed to look, I needed it to look
Professor's
younger.
The salt and pepper, that's a professor look, though.
I know.
Going the opposite direction.
I don't know. 913-586-7965. Up next, let's talk a little bit about Carter Jensen and a chance for him to do something special in 2026. And we have a snitch line on this show. Sounds like somebody else is about to add a snitch line to college sports.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Football season in full swing. Football tonight, and Underdog is the best place to get in on the action and on the Missouri side. That's right. You could be sitting on your couch tonight making those selections over at Underdog. It's super easy. You just choose which players will go higher or lower than their favorite stats. So receiving yards, touchdowns, interceptions. Of course, I've told you before, you can mix and match sports as well. So maybe some playoff baseball, perhaps. I happen to like Kyron Williams to go higher than 67.5 rush yards tonight. And you could be looking at the same over at Underdog. I like it because there's a lot of different options to play. Pick 'em or champions. Select a player out of the 9 offered. They have a discount applied. The discount amount is randomized and varies between uses, and champions and so many others. So join the millions who have already won billions playing at Underdog and be next to download the app and sign up with promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to score $100 in bonus funds or entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P. Underdog, make plays, win money. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms. _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncbgambling.org.
Are you suffering from chronic joint pain like Heather?
I have terrible arthritis and have had it for quite a while. And I've gone to all kinds of doctors trying to figure out what to do. And everybody just said surgery. And surgery was months of rehab. And I didn't want to do that.
But then Heather discovered QC Kinetics, local medical professionals who specialize in natural biologic treatments, non-invasive solutions designed to repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints. And she absolutely loves the results.
I like to tell anybody who's suffering that there are options that are not steroids, that are not surgery. You owe it to yourself to find out about QC Kinetics and find out what they can do for you.
No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Discover QC Kinetics and learn more about natural biologic treatments with lasting results.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. Don't wait. Call QC Kinetics today, 816-412-6299.
Honey, that flu keeping you up? Did you take NyQuil Intense Flu?
Nah, I got this. Okay, I don't got this.
Yeah, you need NyQuil Intense Flu.
Undo your flu with NyQuil Intense Flu. NyQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms so you can sleep.
You do got this.
NyQuil Intense Flu. The nighttime sniffling, aching fever, best sleep with the flu medicine. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Danan Hughes here. I've seen a lot of stat lines in my playing days, but these numbers, they caught my attention. Flight by Yingling, 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, and all the crisp, refreshing flavor you want in a light beer. It's brewed by the oldest brewery in America, so you know it's got some serious history behind it. If you're into stats and taste, you're going to love this beer. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer and the official beer of Danan Hughes. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Also that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At Straight Talk, we get it. You say no a lot.
Mom, can I get a tarantula?
No.
Coffee?
No.
So we're giving you more reasons to say yes, like a free 5G phone with real unlimited data with select plan activation.
Can I use the free phone?
Yes.
See? Doesn't it feel good to say yes to more?
Absolutely.
Face tattoo?
Absolutely not.
Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Taxes and fees apply. In-store activation of Gold Unlimited plan or higher required. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Your favorite neighborhood spots run unsquare. You know the ones. Maybe it's the popular shop that just opened a new location by you, or the big sports bar that's always packed on game day. These places make the neighborhood, and the money spent there stays in your community. Square powers more than 4 million neighborhood businesses worldwide. To learn more, go to square.com, or just stop by your favorite local business. See you in the neighborhood. Square.
Dude, did you order the new iPhone 17 Pro? Got it from Verizon, the best 5G network in America. I've never looked so good.
You look the same.
But with this camera, everything looks better, especially me.
You haven't changed your hair in 15 years. Selfies? Check, please.
New and existing customers can get the new iPhone 17 Pro, designed to be the most powerful iPhone ever. With eligible phone trade-in and unlimited ultimate. Any condition guaranteed. Best 5G source root metrics data, United States, 1H 2025. All rights reserved. Trade-in and additional terms apply for all offers. See Verizon.com for details.
FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming to Missouri. On December 1st, you'll finally be able to bet on all your favorite teams and all your favorite sports. With FanDuel, there's a ton of ways for you to get in on the action. You can bet everything from the money line to over-unders to which team will win it all. You'll be able to build parlays, bet player props, or even ride the live line. Whatever your style, FanDuel has you covered. Plus, with live betting, you can pick which player will score the next touchdown or the touchdown after that. However you play your game, FanDuel's got your back. On December 1st, you'll be able to see for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, there's a ton of ways for you to get in on the action. FanDuel, play your game. FanDuel Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
We're just getting started here on a Thursday on Cody and Gold. We're going to get to something the College Sports Commission is about to add. I think it's a bit of a mistake, but
Agreed.
It's something that is, for this show, funny only because we created something similar, and we still use it today, and it all started during COVID with the NBA, so we'll get to that in just a little bit. But continuing to talk Royals throughout the week as the season wrapped up, and there was a lot from J.J. Picollo and Matt Quatrero's press conference earlier in the week, and so as we head in the offseason, some more conversations happening around what the future is going to look like, while unfortunately we're watching other teams play postseason baseball. I am excited. We get 3 game threes today, 3 of them, which is awesome. Deciding game threes, winner,
Reds couldn't
win or
give
lose.
us the 4th.
Yeah, win or go home kind of thing. Yeah, the Reds... had no chance in that series against the Dodgers. That was a dominant wild card win for the Dodgers last night. But looking ahead to the future, Carter Jensen is someone we discussed yesterday in terms of what his role could be and how it can play into the Salvador Perez option or extension and how much they should play him behind the dish and all of that. Carter Jensen is one of those players that because he only participated in fewer than 70 or it was 60 at-bats, I think, actually, he will be eligible for Rookie of the Year next year.
That's right.
Which has some trickle-down effect, not just because it'd be cool to have that, but also organizationally, there's the draft pick compensation you potentially can have as well.
That's always a good reminder. They do get an extra draft pick if your player finishes, I think it's top 3 or top 2 for Rookie of the Year. Obviously, you get it if inside of their deal at any point they finish top 3 in the MVP or Cy Young voting, which means Bobby Wood Jr., if he ends up finishing 3rd in MVP, which he can, behind Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh, could end up benefiting them again in a lot of ways. Look, here's the thing. Carter Jensen's going to be one of the top 5 favorites to win Rookie of the Year, and here's why I think he's going to be a really good chance to do it. I know we spent some time talking about Cags this year, and we always said it was a long shot because we didn't think he'd get called up early enough. He didn't perform well enough, obviously, either. But he was still called up kind of on the later end of where you need to be in order to do it. I looked at this year's Rookie of the Year. The two guys who have a chance to win on the NL side both played like 125, 130 games.
Yeah, Drake Baldwin and Cade Horton.
So you don't have to worry about the idea that, let's say he only catches 70, but then DHs another 50. Okay, I can get him to 120. He's on the opening day roster. I don't need him to play 160 games to be Rookie of the Year. Then you start sometimes on one side of the ball, it's a complete runaway. Or we thought it was a runaway on the AL side for a little bit, and then it completely flipped.
It did. Remember, even on the NL side, when Mizorowski got called up for the Brewers, it was looking like, oh man, him and Chase Burns, the 2 young pitchers, both of them got hurt, and unfortunately, it changed everything.
On the AL side, at one point, it was like minus 6,000 to the winner on the AL side before it shifted after the Jacob Wilson, Nick Kurtz stuff.
Was the big favorite.
Don't you remember? Yeah. It was a massive swing on that side. All I'm saying is that this is a really important one to watch because he has a very, very, very good chance to do it. Since they changed the rule, the only player, or the first player to do it was Bobby Wood Jr. when he became a top 3 AL MVP finisher last year. So he was the first player to actually benefit the team. The real question I have about Carter Jensen is, can you win it as a catcher without hitting
play enough?
A lot of home runs? Because I think the batting average and the on-base percentage look like they'll probably be there. Because if you actually look at the Rookie of the Year numbers, they don't always have to be Paul Skeens out there as a starting pitcher. They don't always have to be 20 home runs, 80 RBI, hitting 280 will win you Rookie of the Year, Gold. Most years. Like, you don't have to be a superstar.
But as you said, people gravitate towards home runs. They just do. And that was something for Nick Kurtz, who was awesome this year. Ended up with 36, I think, 35, 36 for the A's. And next year, there will also be other names. Like the way we talk about Carter Jensen as a prospect and we talked about Cags as a prospect, there's other top prospects that will either make opening day rosters and play all year. There'll be others that get called up in early May, and all of a sudden, they've got a shot. Now, remember, you only have to worry about the AL. So for your AL and NL, you're not trying to be. There's not a Rookie of the Year for the entire league. So some of these other names like a JJ Weatherholt that you call it for the Cardinals. Okay, he's the NL side. You don't have to worry about that for this combo. But even in their own division, you and I were going through the list. There's guys like Walker Jenkins and Alpha for the Twins. It's supposed to be pretty legit. That could call up next year at some point. I don't know the exact timeline of when or opening day. Travis Bazzana for the Guardians, the second baseman, who's projected maybe to be up with the Guardians at some point next year, if not opening day. So, and they're of course still playing in the postseason today. So there's plenty of competition. But you're right. I think he'll top 5 heading into the season. I could see it on the AL side. I think he'd probably be more towards 5 on that list because I think the playing time and the games behind the dish and how few of them there could be compared to some others. Like Drake Baldwin's a catcher for the Braves this year. All right. He ended up, I don't know the exact, he ended up catching, I think
a lot. He played 123 games.
I think he caught a majority of those.
Yeah.
And he's got a chance to win it. It'll be between him and Cade Horton of the Cubs.
What's crazy about Cade Horton is you realize his numbers are exactly like Noah Cameron's, right? Like almost exactly like Noah Cameron's. And he's got almost even odds. He's like, not quite that, but like it's close enough to even odds to win the National League Rookie of the Year. And he's not even he's not anywhere close to the conversation. And this goes back to what you just said. This is why it's hard for pitchers. if it didn't matter, if it was all things are created equal, I'll just tell you right now, the winner of the American League Rookie of the Year might be Noah Cameron. He was a top 15 starter in the American League from the time he came up in the big leagues until the time he finished. I'm going to guess without even looking. He finished top 20 in baseball in earned run average for starting pitchers. I mean, it's got to be probably close to that, doesn't it? Like without even, Skubal was one. I know that. But he's got to be in that same range considering where he finished at the end of the year. So, yeah, I would think he would win it if it weren't for that situation. But at the same time, they usually lean towards players. That's where I feel like Carter Jensen's going to help. He hits for power gold. He'll be on what I think is a contending team, as in like a team that's vying for a playoff spot the entire year. He's at a position that I think brings some attention and gives you a net bonus if you catch enough. So if he catches 70 or 80 games, the same as Cal Raleigh, like, ooh, he's doing it and catching. They're always impressed by it when you start getting into the votes. I feel like I'm gonna put in a vote. I don't know about whether you are or not, but I'm gonna do it.
Oh, I bet you mean heading into the next season? Yeah, I want to see what spring training looks like and things like that and where the odds market is. But he'll be one of those guys that are in contention for it. But it shifts so much very, very quickly. Based off of health and also based off of, if somebody gets out of the gate hot, April and May, we saw Jacob Wilson. If you get out very, very hot, the narrative starts getting set. And then if you stay healthy, you're like, if Jacob Wilson would have stayed healthy, I know Nick Kurtz ended up with 36 home runs, so maybe you think he still would have been the guy. But if Jacob Wilson never would have got hurt, I also wonder if we would have been thinking he still had a chance to win it. He cooled off, he got hurt and all that, whereas Nick Kurtz ended up starting off slow. He also had a quick IL stint, and then he came back and was awesome for the A's. And now they're actually going to call them the Sacramento A's next year after not willing to do that this year. It's weird.
Why? What's the difference?
They are this year, though.
There's already reports that they were doing messed up things to the city of Sacramento the same as they were doing in Oakland. They just lay waste to towns as they drive.
They are setting up. I will say this: the A's are setting up with some pretty impressive young talent. By the time they get to Vegas in 27 or 28, whenever it is, they got the international player Maury or whatever his name is. Maury, I don't know. They're gonna they have some young talent on the A's team.
For what it's worth, because somebody asked, Noah Cameron finished with the 13th. He didn't technically qualify for the ERA crown. You have to you really can only miss 4 or 5 starts, but 13th in all of Major League Baseball in starting pitching ERA. He was 6th in the American League, not amongst rookies, to be clear, out of anyone. So, just out of those guys, that's where he finished. And so, yeah, if you're a starting, that's what's going to help Carter Jensen. He's not a pitcher. He's just not a pitcher. That to go with it. The Royals don't have any other candidates. Otherwise, I'd bring up, too early to bring up David Shields, or whoever would be.
He's 19.
Kuduna.
He's 19 years old.
Everyone, I was reading more about somebody was doing a write-up on him because they think he's going to be a fast mover in the system. He might end up being their David Price. He might be up at 20 or 21. I don't know if that's the case, but that's still a couple years away. We don't have to worry about that yet.
Yeah.
That's why I said a couple years away.
Let's talk about the College Sports Commission. You're like, what the heck? Yes, it's the College Sports Commission that is doing something we started years ago, okay? We started during COVID. You guys remember during COVID, the NBA had the whole bubble thing, and then they created essentially a hotline, a.k.a. a snitch line, and we had some fun with it. And we said, all right, we're going to create our own snitch line, and it's something we do every once in a while on this program where you guys text in, right, things that you saw around the office, things you've done, things you want to get off your chest. And it's become a fun segment over the 5.5 years we've been doing this show. Well, the College Sports Commission is establishing an anonymous tip line, which has been nicknamed a snitch line. And they'll be taking tips on everything from colleges or athletic departments going over the NIL cap to circumventing NIL Go and other potential rule violations related to NIL. For those that don't know, NIL Go, it was created with Deloitte to help basically regulate these third-party deals, NIL deals. Any deal that's above, I think it's a threshold of $800 or $600 or whatever for student athletes. That's what that is talking about. This to me is a slippery slope, or also could just cause more problems. I understand you're trying to police and prevent people from breaking rules. I totally get it. But you're telling me that if you have a college program or an athletic department that is beating out a school for a recruit and they think something's up or they just don't like you think people aren't just going to be snitching and throwing out stuff that's not always true as well, and I guess it's their job to sift through tips like you would for anything else. But I don't know if I like this setup necessarily. I think it caused some problems.
I think it's weird because it's trying to police the Wild West. They're at a position in NIL right now that policing is kind of crazy because there's a million different things and so many things you can get away with. They're trying to police it is going to be a challenge. But I'll tell you right now, Gold, your fear is exactly what I would do. If I were Lance Leipold, I'm the head coach of Kansas. I'm reporting every little tiny indiscretion. Are you kidding? It's an advantage. It's an advantage to report these people and try to get them in trouble. I'd have a guy on staff whose only job was to report these people. I'd never stop sending in reports. I'd accuse them of and this is the problem, is that a lot of times what's going to happen is they won't do it this way, the way I'm saying, where you just get a competitive advantage and you try to get everybody in trouble. Really what's going to happen is anytime one team thinks it's slightly fishy, that an assistant coach is like, I had him in the bag. He was coming to Kansas. I can't believe it. Something's going on here. That's when they'll report it. Not when the actual
or a blue
indiscretions
blood's
are
not
happening.
happy that a school all of a sudden that is getting some more NIL, like Texas Tech's an example. Drew, you brought them up a couple times. How all of a sudden they are spending as much as anybody in college football, NIL, and it's showing the results right now in this 2025 football season. You don't think that ticks off Texas in their own state? You don't think that ticks off Oklahoma? You know what I mean? Like I could see it becoming that where some of the schools that are having a shift in their NIL success. And the big boys don't like it, and all of a sudden you just got snitching on them and on basically trying to stop that from happening.
I don't know if you guys saw this morning. There's at least 2 SEC NIL collectives who have begun to pay players before the approval. So it's not even the Big 12. It's the SEC is circumventing. They're not waiting for NIL Go to give the approval for these things, and they're giving the money to the players already. And there's a third that's also rumored to do this. So I think that's why they're creating the snitch line, is because in a similar report, Front Office Sports is also reporting that collectives are doing their own thing instead of waiting, which they're supposed to do. But now I'm assuming that got tipped anonymously.
I know,
we
but
don't know the SEC schools or anything like that, but I feel like that's the reason why this tip line is being created, because it's not just to prevent it, it's to do something that's already happening. Like, it's not just, well, this could happen. It already is kind of happening.
The problem is it's buckshot. Is that as often as this happens in it, what is this, a 4,000 person staff? They can't catch every incident.
You get overwhelmed. That's fair. I mean, you're going to get overwhelmed where you won't even be able to get anything done. Like whatever. I don't know how many. Let's say there's. This is probably too high. Let's say there's 10 people in charge of looking at these tips, and that might be high. By the way,
it might be 4.
It might be like 2 people.
There are 4 full-time employees.
Yeah, they can't. So this is this. Now Deloitte is involved in this, so maybe this changes a little. But yeah, I just don't know how they keep up. If you're wondering, the actual clearinghouse they established so far, I mean, I don't want to act like it's not. I don't want to act like it's not working at all. It is. In fact, there's some numbers in the same piece that says they've cleared $35.4 million in deals. Above board, legit.
We're good.
28,000 athletes, 1,200 users have registered. 6,000 deals have gone through the platform. Some of the deals go all the way up to 1.6 million. Like, it's working. Like, that's great, right? That's what's supposed to happen. But we also know what you were kind of hinting at, Drew. Like, there is no way to prevent any of
$100 handshakes, but essentially the bigger version of it.
You can do your best though to stop it, and I'm fine with that. I just don't think this tip line thing is going to work.
I think that's why when you look to the future of what it is, like, I understand their initiative in trying to prevent these things, but it feels like until they actually go full-fledged contract stuff, it's not. This is always going to be a thing that comes up until they go. Contracts, you sign a contract to play at the university, and that's what it becomes. Mm-hmm. It feels like this is always going to be a problem, which it stinks to say that. I'll be honest. Like, I'm more on the fence than full on the side of the pay for play, because I get why colleges don't want to do it. I get why it's been historically not that. But until it gets to that pay for play standpoint, it feels like this is always going to be a problem with collectives and doing their own thing and not following the rules, because they know they can get away with it and cover their tails.
Someone on the text line brought up an interesting point, 913-586-7965. They said, hey, will this be enough eventually to make football break away from the NCAA? This in its own right, no. I think down the road, we've talked about this a bunch with the conferences and the way the the structures with the media rights deals, SEC, Big Ten. Like I think we all have discussed potentially down the road, could you have separate championships where basically whoever's left of the big boys have the quote unquote real national title, and then there's everybody else. I don't want that to happen, but we've discussed the possibility of that kind of stuff. I think it's way more likely that, and we're going to talk about this more tomorrow on the show, the NCAA tournament, I actually think it's way more likely down the road that, unfortunately, what we love about March Madness, they could screw it up enough to where the schools will say, we don't need the NCAA to be an event planner for us. We can run our own dang tournament.
We can plan an event.
Whereas college football, it's way trickier if you tried to separate.
Little news out of the Chiefs matchup. Nothing major yet. Ian Rappaport reporting Jags edge Trayvon Walker had wrist surgery. Liam Cohen
that was
announced
what he went to the doctor for.
He said he is still
3 days
considered day-to-day. Cohen said he could even play maybe on Monday Night Football. But Trayvon Walker did have wrist surgery, so something to monitor, at least in that matchup. He's not ruling him out for Monday, considering that. But at the very least, you'd think he'd be less effective from that end. And their pass rush has been pretty good so far this year in Jacksonville.
Break his wrist or what? Like what?
I think it was a nerve. It was reported like 3 or 4 days ago that he was dealing with
like a nerve-related issue.
Well, that would make it more realistic that he's playing. Because I was like, if he broke his wrist, he's not playing on Monday night. But
I mean, you can't put enough screws in it unless you're going to put the big
But
club
if it's
on
like a pain thing or a nerve thing, I guess I don't know.
I know.
None of us
Because
are
you mentioned
doctors.
yesterday, and I brought up that he went to the doctor. He was seeing a specialist or something. I think that was what it was related to.
He has 2 sacks on the season, but obviously an important edge piece to a defense that's played pretty well.
Yeah, that's what's. I mean, it's the Chiefs' next opponent, so I wanted to make sure we mentioned it, at least on that end. The fact that he could play on Monday Night Football is always the crazy thing about football, just in general. Like, Gold, you had wrist surgery on Tuesday. You're probably not going to go. You might not use your keyboard before Monday.
Probably not. But again, I don't know if it was a nerve thing. It might even feel better for him now than it did a couple days ago. Honestly, I have no idea what kind of procedure he had. But yes, I would just take the whole week off. I'd say I'll see you guys.
So someone to keep an eye out on in the injury report coming up on, the final injury report, whatever that comes out Saturday, I guess, for these teams because they will play on Monday Night Football. But yeah, Trayvon Walker, a little surgery.
Coming up in 10 minutes, we'll talk to Danan Hughes, former Chiefs wide receiver. He, of course, part of the Chiefs radio network, will be on the broadcast Monday night right here on 96.5 The Fan with Mitch Holthus and Josh Klingler as the Chiefs are in Jacksonville. Thinking of ideas that are going around sports right now. I mentioned the cinch line for college. Well, the NBA, this
is unbelievable.
I had to double check. Every once in a while, you see a suggestion from a league, and you're like, okay, this is like the NBA Sentinel fake parody Twitter account. This is from Sports Business Journal. Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, had an idea to rework the NBA postseason. Quote, you possibly could see teams coming into our playoffs, top seeds from other leagues. When I think of the flight from New York to LA, for example, there's no reason if we had 4 teams in Europe, you couldn't travel, play the Knicks or Nets, travel to London, play 3-4 times in Europe, come back home. I think it's very doable for our league to potentially face off against European teams. What are we doing?
The NBA wants to create
what?
They want to create an NBA Europe sort of style.
Fine, but he's talking about playing them in the playoffs.
That's what I'm saying. It's he might go down as currently. I think, without question, is the worst commissioner in sports. And I know that's a lot. Because between this and Cody, he called his own sport a highlight sport. And if people don't want to pay, they can watch the highlights on YouTube. It's free.
That was a pretty bad comment. This one's worse.
This would, I don't look, the chance of it happening seems still pretty slim. This is one of those that truly could ruin your sport. Like sometimes people are hyperbolic and it's like, oh, they're moving to streaming. It's going to ruin the sport. No, people will find a way to watch. Okay, we can all calm down. Sure. You all of a sudden have the Lakers in the, second round of the playoffs having to go to Barcelona or London for a expansion NBA team is just such a terrible idea. Horrendous.
If you want to look, just add another, and I can't believe I'm saying this because the NBA definitely doesn't need another one of these. Add a tournament.
Well, they already have to play a tournament.
I'm just saying, like, if you want them to face off against Europe, create the NBA's version of the World Baseball Classic if you want, and play it in opposite years of the.
I got the Olympics for that. I see the NBA stars.
I'm saying play it in the opposite of the Olympics, right? Because baseball's still gonna have the World Baseball Classic,
like the Euros do, or like the
like the Euros in soccer. Fine. Create a tournament that is every other year in which NBA teams, the Thunder, go take on. But here's the problem: because you're already an international league.
Yeah, I haven't. It hasn't. Pull yours. It hasn't turned off at all. There we go.
But I guess get yours back on red just in case. But make sure they hold.
I didn't. There was.
It just died. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it did.
It's off. It's off. Cody, the audio is only picking up me in here. The audio, it's not reading the actual camera audio. Yeah, see, it's only, it's only picking up when we talk in here.
Pro on them. It's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
The 24 monthly bill credits on experience beyond for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits ended, balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Finance agreement iPhone 17 Pro, 256 gigs, $1,099.99 and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data 1H2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Your favorite neighborhood spots run unsquare. You know the ones. Maybe it's the popular shop that just opened a new location by you. Or the big sports bar that's always packed on game day. These places make the neighborhood, and the money spent there stays in your community. Square powers more than 4 million neighborhood businesses worldwide. To learn more, go to square.com or just stop by your favorite local business. See you in the neighborhood. Square.
Dude, did you order
the new iPhone 17 Pro? Got it from Verizon, the best 5G network in America. I've never looked so good.
You look the same.
But with this camera, everything looks better, especially me.
You haven't changed your hair in 15 years. Selfies? Check, please.
New and existing customers can get the new iPhone 17 Pro, designed to be the most powerful iPhone ever. With eligible phone trade-in and unlimited ultimate, any condition guaranteed. Best 5G source root metrics data, United States 1H 2025. All rights reserved. Trade-in and additional terms apply for all offers. See Verizon.com for details.
Hey guys, did you know that September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, which makes it the perfect time to get screened? The 5-year survival rate is nearly 100% when caught early. Men over 50 or 45 if African American or with a family history should talk to their doctor about screening. Here's why screenings are important. PSA blood tests are quick and simple. Screenings can detect prostate cancer before symptoms appear. Early detection means more treatment options and better outcomes. Some prostate cancers grow slowly, others are aggressive, so early detection is vital. Prostate cancer is the second deadliest cancer for men, but when caught early, the survival rate is nearly 100%. Don't wait. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
Wildcat fans, this is Wyatt Thompson. Tune in all season long to the play-by-play of the 2025 football season, right here on your home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
11 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Of course, we will get to the Chiefs Red half hour in 30 minutes from now. Trash the day about 20 minutes from now here on 96.5 The Fan. But let's talk some Chiefs football. Every Thursday at this time, we're joined by Danan Hughes, former Chiefs wide receiver. You will hear him on Monday night in Jacksonville on the Chiefs Radio Network. And right here on your home for the Chiefs, 96.5 The Fan, as the Chiefs take on the Jags. And our convos with Danan are brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue, and brought to you by Flight by Yuengling, the next generation of light beer. Danan, we talked a lot about Xavier Worthy with you last week heading into the game. We saw him get a ton of work. Did you expect it to be to that extent? And what did you make of just what he brought to the entire offense?
Well, guys, I definitely thought that what we saw from Xavier Worthy was the asset that we were expecting. It was what I was expecting. It was probably in line with holding him out that extra week, because I don't think you want somebody with that ability, with that level of ability that can impact a game, impact a defense and a game plan, to go out there and be 70% when – if you give him another week off, he can be 85, 90% and be able to produce like he did in the run game and in the receiving game. So, yeah, I think at this point we have to know Andy Reid well enough, know his staff well enough, that he's like never going to put a guy in a position not to be successful. Like whether it's Patrick Mahomes and his injuries that he's had in the past, whether it's Xavier Worthy, what we've seen from other guys, Isaiah Pacheco last year, Hollywood Brown last year. Like, he has the ability to kind of know the pulse of his team, know the pulse of his players, to the point that if we have to hold him out longer than shorter, they're going to be better for it, and the team is going to be better for it. And it also just shows you what the impact of having Worthy and that speed is on the field. I'm going to be breaking down plays on KSHB, my Danan's data and Big Play Danan for this coming week. And one of those, the comments that I'll be making is going to be regarding how defenses not only have to defend the stretch amount of the field. So when you're talking about 40 yards and in down the field as far as his abilities, but now you have to stretch it to 52 yards wide, because of his speed and our ability to get him the ball in jet sweeps and shovel passes, reverses, etc. So like his presence is dangerous for opposing defenses, and it helps everybody else. Look at Travis Kelce. He got 5 catches, and it wasn't as populated a defense surrounding Travis throughout this game, and you expect everybody else to kind of amp up their production as well.
How much does it change even the short yardage? You mentioned stretching the field and how defenses have to cover a full football field, but will this make things easier on a Kareem Hunt, a Pacheco on a 3rd and 1, because you really now have to account for everything?
Absolutely. I mean, and wait until week 7 when Rashee Rice comes back, and all the creativity that I'm sure Andy Reid and Matt Nagy spent much of the offseason formulating, and how they're going to be able to complement each guy and use each guy to help the other guy. And then before you know it, the run game that is getting 3, 4, 5 yards a clip, we're going to see holes open up where Isaiah Pacheco, Brashard Smith probably at that point, and definitely Kareem Hunt, we're going to be skirting through for 1st and 10, and next thing you know, it's 12-yard gain, 1st and 10 again, and that's when this offense is really going to be clicking. So we're just seeing a glimpse of what the capabilities and possibilities will be for this offense, and I'm glad we saw it in a win. People are kind of detracting from that win based on the Ravens and their injuries.
Mm-hmm.
That's the nature of the beast. We won a game we were supposed to win at home. That's a recipe for success.
And I kind of view it, there was a ESPN analyst who was talking a little bit about that, Dane, and they were simply asked the question, like, do you view them more as the team, like, do you value the 0-2 start more than the 2-0 start? And their argument was, well, the 2 losses were worse. They were against the Chargers in Philadelphia. Those are teams that they respect, versus the Giants in Baltimore, and Baltimore in the shape they were in. How do you parse that out when you start figuring out what's coming next for the Chiefs, in the sense that do you care what happened in those first 2 games? Do you value the things that went wrong there, or do you think that it was just they weren't right yet and they're right now?
I do not envy. I think I said this to you guys a few weeks ago. I do not envy the talking heads on national media at all. To have to make up scenarios and to come up with situations to be able to negate the abilities of Patrick Mahomes and this Chiefs team is just mind-boggling to me. Losing to 2 teams that one is still undefeated, the other one is still atop of the AFC West, and losing to each of them by 1 score, 6 points and 3 points, and then coming back and beating 2 teams that you probably should have beat, and you beat them by multiple scores, and we're still focusing on those first 2 games. Like, I feel like we've gotten to a point, whether it's, the Chiefs being overcooked because of the successes and people trying to find whatever little thing that they can find to throw jabs at and throw darts at, that we're creating situations. We said in week 1, it's just week 1. We said in week 2, there's still 15 games left. And then all of a sudden we reel off 2 wins and we're back to 500. And we're back 0-0 basically. And now we're going to detract and say, well, the wins were not as impressive as the losses to 2 teams. Now, would that scenario carry any weight if the Chargers went on and lost their next 3 games and were 1-3? Maybe the argument could be made then. If the Eagles were not undefeated, maybe so. But those 2 teams have shown that they were going to be good teams. Everybody knew they were going to be good teams coming in, and they've done it. And we've won against the teams we've won since then. Like, it's so nonsensical, but I get it. I would say, to answer your question, these last 2 wins were much more important, much more telling than the first 2 losses.
I also think it's like a weird time to make that argument, knowing that if you had sleptwalk against the Giants, they just beat the Chargers. So, like,
yeah,
it's definitely a team you could have lost to. And I guess to that point, I think sometimes we lose it, Danan, in this. Like with Patrick Mahomes, he's so great. We forget that, like, confidence matters for him too. Like the game, the last game was a really good reminder for me, is like when he is comfortable and confident in what he's doing, how much better even he can look.
Yeah, and if you look at the landscape of how those games unfolded, a drop pass by Travis Kelce, turnover against the Chargers, like being in certain circumstances and then still figuring out a way to almost have an opportunity to win. Like, we know that these teams are going to come out and target the Chiefs because we're the AFC champions. And to be able to go on the road, the Giants were reeling, we were reeling. We win by double digits. We come back, the Ravens are reeling, we're still not sure where we are, who we are. We win the game. And then, again, I'll go back to my comment, like I said the last couple of weeks. Take the top 2 receivers off of any team in the NFL. I know there's a lot of noise being made about A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts. take Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown off of the Eagles and tell me if they're 4-0. Like we can go through the list of teams. We doubt it. So the fact that we're 2-2 while not having our top two targets, figuring things out. And, oh, by the way, we're talking a whole bunch about the offense, and I always navigate towards that. But how about this defense? Mm-hmm. Even in those circumstances against those teams, giving up only 20 points against the Eagles, giving up the 27 against the Chargers, and getting better each and every week. I don't know where those people kind of how they sleep well at night. I don't know how they sleep well at night. You have peace of mind by being a detractor of the Chiefs, and if we're able to go down to Jacksonville and win on Monday night, be 3-2, coming back home and playing against probably one of, if not the most dangerous teams in the NFL, and the Lions. Imagine if we win these next two, what people will be talking about, and we'll go into a situation where Rashee Rice is coming around the corner. I mean, that's really when it's going to get spicy.
We're talking to Danan Hughes here on 96.5 The Fan. You mentioned the trip out to Jacksonville, Monday Night Football. The Jags, they're turning everybody over at this point in time, but offensively it hasn't been all that impressive yet. Brian Thomas, we know what he's capable of. It's been a slow start for him. What are you seeing from this Jags offensively as you take a look at them?
I think they're just playing really good complementary football. When one phase of the game, we've been down that road before. Before we started winning Super Bowls, it was the offense that was carrying a limping defense along. And then it kind of flipped where the defense was carrying a wounded offense, or an offense that was dropping a lot of passes along, and you got to the promised land. The Jaguars are +9 in the giveaway takeaway. They're fourth in the NFL in 144 yards rushing per game. Travis Etienne is top in the NFL at 6.1 yards per carry. If your defense is taking the ball away and basically stalling any drive that the offenses or the opposing offenses have, and then you're taking up the clock by running the ball and having a proficient run game, even if Trevor Lawrence isn't playing his best football, and then you got him in a position where last week was the first time he didn't turn the ball over. If they're able to replicate that, there'll be a problem for everybody that they face. Don't turn the ball over. Defense takes the ball away, and you take up a lot of clock with the run game. That's a recipe for success, even in this league where you'd like to see the ball thrown in the air, and it seems like the best teams know how to throw it around. That's the other component of it, where you can run the ball and take the ball away. So we got to protect the football. It's supposed to be somewhat sloppy weather, 60% chance of rain from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So the entire weekend it's going to be a little bit wet down there, and hopefully we can get an open window where that doesn't affect us in the game. But ball security is definitely going to be at the top of my list.
Dana, we were talking about on the show. What are your feelings about Jacksonville, the city?
This is Josh Klingler's favorite city to visit. Make sure you tell him.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs Radio Network crew, they really enjoy going to Jacksonville.
Sounds like they're all really excited to go to Jacksonville, Can't wait.
Jacksonville's Jacksonville. Actually, I was a part of the expansion draft list back when Jacksonville came into the league back in the mid-'90s. Could have been picked to go down there, but with every pick that they got, a team got to pull a player back, and I want to say I was the second one pulled back by the Chiefs. So my career could have gone totally different direction had I become a Jaguar. Glad I stayed in Kansas City, and glad we're only going to Jacksonville for one night. How about that?
Those first couple of years in Jacksonville were actually kind of fun. The Mark Brunell years, they were a pretty good squad.
Oh, yeah, they definitely. They were, and Jimmy Smith and Keenan McCardell and Fred Taylor later. They were a good team. Maurice Jones-Drew, they were solid. Mark Brunell and I came out of college together, so I've known him for years. But I'm glad I stayed here.
I was going to say, is Jimmy Smith on the underrated wide receiver list that nobody mentions?
Oh yeah, he was definitely that dude back then. And Keenan McCardell being in that slot, they were a force offensively. And they had some players defensively as well. They've kind of been up and down. We've beaten them the last 8 times we've played them. So they probably have that somewhere in their notes as well, they'll be incentivized to try to take down the defending AFC champion.
Well, safe travels to Jacksonville. Enjoy as much as you can, and we'll be listening on Monday night.
All right, will do, fellas.
There you go. That's Danan Hughes joining us here every Thursday on Cody and Gold. And, yeah, be listening Monday right here to 96.5 The Fan. Danan, Mitch, and Kling on the broadcast. Our convos with Danan Hughes brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue. And brought to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. Yeah, man. Baselli, Fred Taylor, all those guys. The Jags, they obviously, when they first got going, the expansion draft actually planned out well for them, and then they've been in a lull for a while. I understand what's his name. Blaine Gabbert took him to an AFC title game.
Been to a conference title game more recently than the Dallas Cowboys.
That is true.
So we can talk about lulls all we want.
That is very true.
There's some franchises who haven't been that far more recently than the Jags are there. I still can't believe Blake Bortles was up against Tom Brady. This is the other part about the Mahomes era.
Oh, Blake Bortles. Sorry, I said Blake Gabbert.
Bortles. Yeah. It's fine. This is the whole part of the Mahomes era that in the end of his career, when I'm like arguing with people about why his career is better than Tom Brady's, is look at some of the teams that Tom Brady had to get past to go to a Super Bowl. Just a bunch of Mark Sanchez's and Blake Bortles. Not exactly murderer's row on his way to another Super Bowl trip. Patrick Mahomes every year has to do it against the best of the best. Other guys are going to be in the Hall of Fame. Legit guys. Not Sanchez and Bortles.
I don't see it easing up over the next decade in terms of quarterbacks that he's going to have to deal with in the postseason and everything. A buddy of mine just texted me that lived in Jacksonville. He said, hey, what's up with all the Jags or the Jacksonville slander?
That's what I'm
he
saying.
said he
lived
enjoyed
in or actively lives in?
He lives in Kansas City now.
You even left.
What's
that say?
Well, I think work. I think he left for work.
I think it's because you don't like Florida, Cody, at all, period.
That's an accurate
I think that's part of it. Which
that's definitely playing a factor.
Look, there's multiple cities I would go to in Florida before I got to Jacksonville, but like nobody's arguing that. But I don't think it's. I haven't been there, so I guess I don't know. I don't think it's terrible. I would rather go to quite a few cities on the Gulf side of the state before I would work my way over to Jacksonville. But yeah,
but just not the muddy water of Galveston.
Jacksonville has to be better than Galveston. Has to be.
You really hated that one trip you took, trips you took to Galveston.
It was not even trips. I lived an hour or so north of there for a little while, and I was excited about the ocean, and it stunk. It was mud water. That's it.
Tell you what, Jacksonville, as far as their sports talk radio, they're really going to play some clips back from this show. If
someone says the whole city smells, someone says that's right. Yeah, someone says the whole city smells like Swisher cigars because of the factory. Someone says a disgusting town from the 913.
What, Galveston?
No.
Hey, wait, is that true about the Swisher?
I think they're talking about
factory there.
Is that about Jacksonville?
Is that a real thing?
I don't know. I'll have to text my buddy about this.
Is that true about the Swisher factory?
I don't know. I haven't been there, man.
I will say,
when I lived in Waldo for a a while, there was a bread company down the street, so the street always smelled like fresh baked bread.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Like dead city, like it's what farm to
market.
market.
You want to go find what
used to be down the street.
You want to go visit probably.
Let's see, where is the... No.
It says that's not an ocean, that's a port. Yeah, Galveston. Yeah, exactly.
It's nasty.
All right, let's get to the trash.
Trash of the day.
Once again, you guys have options. Yesterday, we did not get to the neck one.
Yeah, the way you teased it yesterday, I think people want to hear it today.
I said somebody hurt their neck doing an activity that some people do at least once or twice a week.
Yeah, and that immediately made people interested.
And I think, again, I might have over promised on that one. Yesterday, we didn't do the one about the cheese. Today, you can do the neck one. You could do one about pets causing a divorce. We could do one about scented alarm clocks. You guys tell me.
Scented alarm clocks? Let's do the neck one. I want to hear that one.
Okay. This one's quick. Maybe, again, I think I overpromised.
You can tell me about the scented alarm clocks later.
Okay. A woman nearly died in the UK after yawning so hard she broke her neck.
That's a baseball injury. She broke her neck yawning?
Yeah, at the hospital, doctors found that 2 bones in her neck had shot forward into her spine from the force of the yawn. She spent 6 months in a wheelchair, and she had to learn to walk again. How do you yawn that strong? Like, I've heard stories, right? You cough hard enough, you break a rib, or you sneeze hard enough, you can break a rib, and things like that. That's a fairly common thing. How do you yawn with so much force
Hey, she was throwing her head back. I guess to yawn. I don't know what that was.
Look, I'm not even sure.
She was.
I think something else happened and she's lying.
Like what, Cody?
Like how they joke about on Seinfeld. It's like, I don't know how it ended up there. Yeah, I'm sure. Just a total freak accident. You tripped. Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly what happened here. No way. A yawn?
That's what it says.
How could they she's saying she yawned and then her neck immediately hurt. And
she yawned
she had
and
to
she
learn
heard
to walk again.
Yep, she could not because the bones or whatever in her neck went into her spine or whatever the exact.
How broken
phrase.
is your body before that moment? I felt like there had to be like a thing that caused it in the lead.
Do we know the age of this person?
Let me look.
Yeah, like if you're like 60 or 70, maybe. Like, Drew, could you imagine it? You're almost 30 years old.
Mother
like
of two,
weeks, right?
Mother of two. Here we go.
That doesn't make it sound like
a yawn left a 36-year-old mother fighting for her life.
That's crazy.
She had woken to make a bottle for her baby when she saw her daughter yawn and instinctively copied her. Of
course.
The stretch snapped something deep inside her neck. I felt this immediate electric shock sensation go through half my body. I jumped up in shock. Her arm froze midair. She said it was like having a seizure down half her body. She knew instantly something was wrong. At first, doctors did not believe her. Scans came back clean. While she screamed through the pain, she was hitting herself in the head, trying to knock herself out just to escape it. Hours later, further imaging revealed the C6, C7 had shot forward into her spine when she yawned. They said it was such a freak incident.
No, that sounds
makes me
like
scared
one of
to
the
yawn.
worst things you can ever go
Don't
through.
yawn, man.
She was trying to knock herself out. The pain was so bad.
Somebody on the text line is claiming that their coworker sneezed so hard that he got testicular torsion and had to have one removed.
How? No,
I don't know.
Hang on. Hang on. How does that happen?
The thought of that is painful.
Because I think you understand the yawn.
That'd be a tough thing to have to admit on this show.
You understand?
Go, what happened? Well, I lost a testicle over the weekend. You're like, excuse me, how? Is that? You're like, I sneezed.
You understand
I just sneezed.
You understand like the cough in the rib, the yawn in the neck thing, but how does a sneeze?
I actually understand the sneeze more than a yawn. I've never had what I would
makes
describe
sense.
as a violent yawn.
That's what I'm saying.
At no point
like,
in my life, have, I've had a sneeze that felt like
how did she
it
yawn?
rattled
That's
your
what
body.
Unless she had
they said it's called
thrown her head back. I don't know.
Freak accident for like just the right spot. I don't know.
She was really holding that yawn.
Was she prone to it? Like, was this going to happen no matter what at some point to her?
That's what
you know
I
mean.
Wonder. It's like she got in a car wreck and it throw things out of place a little bit, but she didn't notice, and then the yawn is just displaced it all.
So next time you yawn, just
careful,
calmly yawn, please.
The
don't ever bring up.
Going to make me yawn.
And don't ever bring up. Do not ever bring up the coworker sneezing so hard he twisted his testicle. Ever again.
He said he's a really loud and bold sneezer.
I guess so.
That might explain
Not moving forward. I'd be that little petite mousy sneeze the rest of my life.
The amount of pain that gentleman, and her in this case with the neck, but I'm thinking more about the sneezing because this is just not a good thought.
I'm afraid to sneeze, yawn, any regular.
Oh, okay. We don't need the details, sir. Sir, we don't need the sir on the text line. I don't need the details of the surgery. Thank you. Thank you.
We're done.
I appreciate it. Goodness.
Everyone's supposed to eat lunch today.
Yeah, am I going to read that? That is the trash of the day.
It's a good thing we can't get photos into our text line sometimes.
Yes.
It would never work.
That would be really bad.
I just wouldn't look at the text line ever again.
We would never have a text line if that was the case. The photos we would get sent. You can imagine what we would end up.
We
with
already
on the
get accidental text to the text line sometimes.
Yes, we do.
Truly, purely accidental text to the text line. The last thing I need is anything that you guys are sending on occasion. Although it is 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Some of you, I'm not texting certain things at 10:30 a.m. It's a wild time to text some of that.
All right, up next, let's talk more during the Red Half Hour about the Jags offense. And we're expected to hear from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes right here on your home for the Chiefs, 96.5 The Fan.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Vinny Pasquantino, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
This is Danan Hughes. In Kansas City football, we honor tradition, but we always look forward to what's next. That's why I'm all in for Flight by Yingling. It's brewed by the oldest brewery in America, but built for today. 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, crisp, clean, and full of flavor, just the way a light beer should be. It's got the legacy and the stats to back it up. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer and the official beer of Danan Hughes. D.G. Yingling and Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
Prostate cancer. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed in their lifetime, but early detection can save lives. That's where KCUC comes in. They're the premier center for urology and oncology, with over 50 elite providers and more than 20 locations across the metro. KCUC makes it easy to get screened fast in the comfort of an office, not a hospital. Schedule your screening today at kcuc.com. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. kcuc.com. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
Every NFL Thursday is your chance to hit the jackpot on FanDuel, because FanDuel's Thursday touchdown jackpot means that you can win a share of $2 million in bonus bets each and every week. To get in on this Thursday's action, all you have to do is place an anytime touchdown score bet before the game kicks off. And if your player scores either the first or the last touchdown in the game, then you'll win your bet plus a share of bonus bets. All you need to do is visit FanDuel.com. Use my promo code KFNZ to take a shot at the jackpot. Remember my promo code KFNZ for your chance to win a share of $2 million in bonus bets. Play your game with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt in. Must apply profit boost hosting on select market. Prize pool to be split equally among all eligible participants who made the correct first or last touchdown pick. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 21 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Can help with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Kansas City, it's time to turn up the heat. The Westport Sunfresh is back and better than ever. Now proudly part of the Cosentino Food Stores family. We're celebrating with a re-grand opening you won't want to miss. That means 3 full weeks of hot savings on the freshest produce, premium meats, and all your grocery favorites. Come experience the new and improved Westport Sunfresh, your neighborhood store, now with even more local love. Located in the heart of Westport, only at Cosentino's Westport Sunfresh.
This is the Let's Revitalize Our Neighborhoods commitment. This is the Roll Up Our Sleeves and Pitch In commitment. This is Busey, where our commitment to strengthen our communities is a top priority. Through energetic, engaged volunteers, through monetary support, community leadership, and advocacy. Because Busey is more than a bank that does well, we're a bank that does good. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth, since 1868. Member FDIC.
Hey, Zach. Are you smiling at my gorgeous canyon view?
No, Donald. I'm smiling because I've got something I want to tell the whole world.
Well, do it. Shout it out.
T-Mobile's got home internet.
Whoa, I love that echo. T-Mobile's got home internet.
How much is it?
Look at that, Zach. We got the neighbor's attention.
Just $35 a month. And you love a great deal, Denise.
Plus, they've got a 5-year price guarantee. That's 5 whole trips around the sun.
I'm switching. Me too.
Yes, T-Mobile home internet for the neighborhood.
Donald, you still haven't returned my weed whacker.
Carl, don't you embarrass me like this, please.
What's everyone yelling about?
T-Mobile's got home internet.
And Donald's got my weed whacker.
Yes, T-Mobile's got home internet. Just $35 a month with auto pay and any voice line. And it's guaranteed for 5 years.
Beautiful yodeling, Carl.
Taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com/ISP for details and exclusions.
Right now, receive up to a $25 O'Reilly gift card after rebate with the purchase of select Superstart batteries at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Check the back seat. Check the back seat.
Gets in your head, right? Good, because every year dozens of children are forgotten in the back seat. Cars get hot fast and can be deadly, so get it in your head. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here. Based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 in monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Thank you for making Total Wine & More America's #1 online source for spirits, beer, and wine. Better than all those delivery apps. Total Wine's prices are up to 30% lower with super fast delivery and no hidden fees. Order direct at TotalWine.com and pay less today.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Think Verizon, the best 5G network, is expensive? Think again. Bring in your AT&T or T-Mobile bill to a Verizon store and we'll give you a better deal. Now, what to do with your unwanted bills? Maybe turn them into paper airplanes headed to See Ya Never AT&T and T-Mobile. Jokes aside, the best 5G network has you covered with the most ways to save on plans, streaming, and phone deals. So bring in your bill to your local Verizon store and we'll give you a better deal. Rankings based on Root Metric True Score report dated 1H 2025. Your results may vary. Must provide a postpaid consumer mobile bill dated within the past 45 days. Bill must be in the same name as the person redeeming the deal. Additional terms apply.
Thank you for making Total Wine & More America's #1 online source for spirits, beer, and wine. Better than all those delivery apps. Total Wine's prices are up to 30% lower with super fast delivery and no hidden fees. Order direct at TotalWine.com and pay less today.
Drink responsibly, B21.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Chiefs Red Half Hour brought to you by All Weather Decks, Kansas City's most respected deck builder. Check them out at allweatherdecks.net. Drew's trying to watch preseason NBA basketball
from Abu Dhabi or whatever.
I've got it on my phone now, or I got it on my laptop.
NBA TV, it says we need to call customer service to get this channel. We don't get it in here, Drew.
Drew, this comes with a place from love. We're actively doing a show. There's just no reason for you to need to watch NBA preseason from Abu Dhabi.
I'm so hyped up for
that
basketball. I am
is
so
serving
excited.
preseason basketball.
And I mean, but the starters play like they play a healthy amount in the preseason too.
I mean, I'm just saying, you know what it is? And I've said this to Gold before, too. I think you need I'll say this, not even like, because you've got golf, you need a winter hobby. I don't care if you knit, cook, learn to woodwork. If you got time for preseason Abu Dhabi NBA basketball, NBA, can't even get it out, NBA TV, you got too much free time.
I will say,
you got too much free time.
He's at work and he just wants TV on in the background and just to have a live sporting event instead of seeing Stephen A. Smith shout 100 times a day. He wants to have.
I'd rather see some action. Yeah,
I mean, I kind of get it.
What's he gonna do? Like randomly catch an SGA dunk?
Yeah.
And
he's not betting on the game.
That would be sick behavior. That's when I would tell you to call bets off.
He's not betting.
I'd be worried about
He's not betting on it. I don't even know who's playing in this game, Drew. Who the hell is?
Knicks and Sixers.
Okay.
So Cat got an.
Is Embiid playing or is he still hurt? He's hurt. That's a good bet.
I'm guessing Embiid's not.
Unfortunately.
He actually might be out
playing.
there.
I hope so.
Honestly, that's insane. For his health history,
Knicks are playing.
he should
Why
never
is he playing
be
in preseason? Yeah.
Actually, that was the Knicks. Cat, like everybody for the Knicks is playing.
One says
Brunson, Cat, everybody.
It says on the text line, week 5, and Drew's checked out of football. I wonder why. Gotta love it. Anyway,
he's excited for the NBA season now.
Not a college football.
That's true. We are gonna hear from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes here in about 10 minutes or so. But we asked Danan Hughes about the Jags and their offense, and look, everybody, no matter who you talk to, everybody noticed immediately. You look at the turnover margin. Understandably so. They're the best in the league right now at that. But the Jags offense, what do you think of this Jags offense? ETN has been the workhorse back for them and carried the load for them. Trevor Lawrence has been very average so far this year.
Even maybe?
Brian Thomas was looking like he was going to be a top 10 wide receiver in football at the end of last season. He's got the talent.
He's been worse than Tyquan Thornton.
Slow start for him. Now that maybe scares you a little bit because you think he's about to break out again or something like that. But I think this defense for Kansas City will match up very well with the Jags offense. You know, if you're talking about like the kind of game, and we'll give official predictions on Monday and everything, but I think the Chiefs can hold this Jags offense 21 or less. I really believe that.
I think what stood out about it is I'm trying not to let the style of coach dictate this, because they look a lot like how the Harbaugh took over for the Chargers. They run the ball. They take the ball away. They play tough defense. They throw it to tight ends, right? Brenton, not even like a normal name, Brenton Strange, is their leading wide receiver so far this year, ahead of Brian Thomas. And they've gone with these possession guys, like De'Ami Brown has more receptions than even Travis Hunter. They are a boring team to watch, but they get explosive run plays. They get them out of Tootin and they get them out of ETN. They play a grunt. I think they play a lot like the Chargers last year, where I'm like, you've made Herbert look worse. Because, like, to this point, Trevor Lawrence actually statistically is worse so far this year.
But they're keeping him out of
than he was. But they're keeping him out of trouble
to make mistakes. I think. Yeah,
that's it. I think that they're playing small ball, and playing small ball against Kansas City is going to get you beat. Overall, I actually think the strategy for the Jags offense and the team, I'm somewhat impressed by. Although Trevor Lawrence still has thrown 4 picks, so he's not been making Yes, he's not been making no mistakes. It seems like they're trying to reduce the number of mistakes, partially because he is being sacked at a pretty high. He's being sacked at a very low percentage because getting rid of the ball. It just hasn't helped. If you ask me right now, I am not afraid of their offense at all, unless for some reason they figure out a way to have ETN go off. And we just had this conversation with the Ravens. Historically, they don't just let some running back go off on them. And this year, they have been really good against number 1 wide receivers. So even if you're worried about here comes the Brian Thomas breakout game, he is big. So maybe it's the Quentin Johnson lineup matchup situation that caused the problem. I'm having a hard time seeing where the Jacksonville Jaguars can attack him. I'm impressed. I'm trying not to knock them for the fact that he's made Trevor Lawrence in the offense look worse, even though he's an offensive-minded guy, and instead taking it the Harbaugh route in the sense that he knows he's got to play gross, drag-out football in order to win football games, and to this point, it's worked.
I wonder, to this point, we haven't seen Travis Hunter, the full-blown explosiveness that he's capable of. And you wonder if this is a game in which the Jags, knowing the opponent that they're going up against, this is the best team the Jags have faced all year, will be the Chiefs. It's not close.
It's a wide margin.
It's not close.
49ers are next close, and they beat them.
But
they were still limited.
The Niners team without Nick Bosa and some other pieces as well, and a defense that has really struggled. And so I wonder if this is a game in which you see the Jags try to use Travis Hunter on the edges a little bit more, along with Brian Thomas, and see if the Chiefs test the Chiefs linebackers a little bit more.
They definitely haven't taken a shot with him, to my knowledge. It's all been short like hitch routes stuff.
Well, similar to like they're not blitzing Patrick Mahomes, they're not really blitzing Trevor Lawrence, because why would they blitz Trevor Lawrence? He's getting rid of the ball incredibly quickly. That's part of what, and I don't remember who it was. Maybe it was Ross Tucker who's talking about it. Right now, the Jacksonville Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence is playing bad, and they're not even asking him to do anything. He doesn't throw it over 15 yards. They have zero deep passing game at all. Hell, they don't even have a mid-range game. They mostly throw it between 0 and 10 yards. So everything is close to the line of scrimmage. So it requires the Chiefs to tackle and get after the ball and operate in that way. But that's kind of it. He's a really low blitz quarterback. People who were asking, how's he perform against the blitz? He's in the bottom 7 or 8 of quarterbacks who have been blitzed this year. So, the numbers probably wouldn't even tell you the whole story if I told you how he's doing against the blitz.
Yeah, you mentioned the Trevor Lawrence interception stuff. This is just a stat. It tells you how rough it's been for him, even going back, of course, a different regime. But last week was the first time in 6 games that he didn't have an interception. Right? Trevor Lawrence had a streak of 6 consecutive games with a pick, and he, of course, didn't throw one on the road against San Francisco. And so can you get him into that mistake? And this one is fairly simple on Monday night. I do feel like, given that the Jags have been so reliant on turnovers and forcing them and protecting the football, if the Chiefs can avoid turning the ball over, I honestly think I can simplify this down to the Chiefs will win the football game.
Did you see Matt Verderam's stat this morning on the turnovers?
No.
They have the Chiefs have a 34-game winning streak when winning the turnover battle.
Well.
And look, most teams win more games when they win the turnover battle, so this is not a surprising thing. I went up and looked at after. They have a winning record when losing the turnover battle. Nobody else in the league
won a lot of football games.
Yeah, but nobody else in the league has a winning record when losing the turnover battle. They all have a losing record over the last 3 years. That's how football works. But in particular in this matchup, considering what you said, Trevor Lawrence gives the ball away every single time he steps on a football field. And the Chiefs' 34-game winning streak while winning the turnover battle, if Trevor Lawrence throws a pick in this game, it's a lock. Just as long as they don't give it away 3 times. And even so, in last week's game, how many times did Brock Purdy give it away and they still had a chance to win? Their offense is putrid. Like, we're trying to make it seem like it's been average. It's been way below average. It's been one of the 5 to 7 worst offenses in the NFL. The fact that 3-1 has all to do with turnovers and defensive play and nothing to do with what they've done offensively, other than the fact that they're probably limiting offensive possessions for other teams because ETN is running the ball well. That's the only thing they've done well offensively is get explosive runs. Nothing else is working.
We'll get an early break in, and then we're going to hear from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes right here on 96.5 The Fan.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Chris Jones. You're listening to Cody and Gold. Weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Every NFL Thursday is your chance to hit the jackpot on FanDuel. We've got an NFC West showdown tonight. Rams taking on the 49ers. And with FanDuel's Thursday touchdown jackpot, you can win a share of $2 million in bonus bets each week. To get in on this Thursday's action, all you have to do is place an anytime touchdown score bet before the game kicks off. And then if your player scores the first or last touchdown of the game, you'll win your bet plus a share of bonus bets. Just visit FanDuel.com/Alex to take a shot at the jackpot. That's FanDuel.com/Alex for your chance to win a share of $2 million in bonus bets. Play your game with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Must apply a profit boost token on select market. Prize pool to be split equally among all eligible participants who made the correct first or last touchdown pick. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 21 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Another summer has ended, and you may have noticed that your energy is lower, your workouts aren't as productive, perhaps you aren't sleeping as well and feel foggy all the time, maybe even your sex drive is off. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're experiencing some or all of these symptoms, it's likely you have low testosterone. And if that's what's going on with you, don't wait. You need to call us at Heartland Men's Health and get treated for your low T, because living with low testosterone is no way to live. With our low T treatments, if you're like most guys, your life will change considerably. Improved sleep, better energy, greater gains in the gym, better mental clarity, and your sex drive will likely improve as well. Plus, most men see these results in just a few weeks. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes PSA and T-test and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
This fall, refresh your home with a special offer from Westlake Ace Hardware. Enjoy $10 off bin interior paint gallons, October 1st through 31st. With an easy-to-apply, easy-to-maintain formula, Bin Interior offers an introduction into the beauty and durability of Benjamin Moore premium paint. Hurry into Westlake Ace Hardware for this limited-time savings and keep your spaces looking beautiful for years to come. Offer valid in-store only, so visit Westlake Ace Hardware today. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
DQ presents the sound of your next meal at DQ. It's the sound of savoring a signature stack burger, loving a chicken strip basket, or digging into everyday value with the $7 meal deal. Wait, where is the sound? Am I missing something? Oh, it's quiet because they're too busy enjoying their DQ food. Makes sense. So delicious and so peaceful. Grab your favorite from the DQ food menu today at participating U.S. locations. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
Good morning, Casey's Country. Darn good coffee's now 49 cents when you buy any breakfast sandwich or burrito. Some are calling it a great deal. I call it sensational. I'm so sorry. Bad joke. Good deal, though. It's not crazy. It's Casey's. See store for details.
Danan Hughes here. I've seen a lot of stat lines in my playing days, but these numbers, they caught my attention. Flight by Yingling. 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, and all the crisp, refreshing flavor you want in a light beer. It's brewed by the oldest brewery in America, so you know it's got some serious history behind it. If you're into stats and taste, you're going to love this beer. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer and the official beer of Danan Hughes. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
Huge savings on Dell AI PCs with Intel Core Ultra processors are here, and they're newly designed to help you do more faster. They can generate code, edit images, multitask without lag, draft emails, summarize documents, create live translations, and even extend your battery life. That's the power of Dell AI with Intel inside. Upgrade today by visiting Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
When your name's on the paint job, your primer better hold up. Painters trust Kills primers for serious adhesion, stain blocking, and a finish that lasts. Now, the full Kills lineup is available exclusively at the Home Depot. Need it fast? Get same-day or next-day delivery, or order online and pick it up in-store. Kills primers. Pro results. Faster. The Home Depot. If you're a pro, you know.
Thank you for making Total Wine & More America's #1 online source for spirits, beer, and wine. Better than all those delivery apps. Total Wine's prices are up to 30% lower with super fast delivery and no hidden fees. Order direct at TotalWine.com and pay less today.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Think Verizon, the best 5G network, is expensive? Think again. Bring in your AT&T or T-Mobile bill to a Verizon store and we'll give you a better deal. Now, what to do with your unwanted bills? Maybe turn them into paper airplanes headed to See Ya Never AT&T and T-Mobile. Jokes aside, the best 5G network has you covered with the most ways to save on plans, streaming, and phone deals. So bring in your bill to your local Verizon store and we'll give you a better deal. Rankings based on Root Metric True Score report dated 1H2025. Your results may vary. Must provide a postpaid consumer mobile bill dated within the past 45 days. Bill must be in the same name as the person redeeming the deal. Additional terms apply.
Thank you for making Total Wine & More America's #1 online source for spirits, beer, and wine. Better than all those delivery apps. Total Wine's prices are up to 30% lower with super fast delivery and no hidden fees. Order direct at TotalWine.com and pay less today.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Hey, it's Xavier Worthy. The Chiefs Radio Network pregame show starts 3 hours before kickoff, right here on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
KFN, CFM, and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
We are expecting to hear from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes in the next couple of minutes. Again, everything's pushed back a day with the schedule and Monday Night Football. So today is Wednesday in their world as far as media availability and everything. That's why we didn't hear from them yesterday, but we'll hear from Andy Reid and Mahomes right here on your home for the Chiefs, 96.5 The Fan.
Don't forget, Sports Talk on 96.5 The Fan is presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game live every Sunday, all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today.
Thinking of today, we got afternoon baseball, but it's not going to start till 2 because we only have 3 games as the Dodgers did advance out of the National League Wild Card Series, and you get a huge showdown with the Phillies coming up tomorrow or this weekend, I think it is. And elsewhere, you've got a Tigers-Guardians series. Winner moves on, loser goes home. Same thing in the other 2 series involving the Padres, Cubs, and then of course the Red Sox and Yankees. What do you think happens? What do you think happens today while we're waiting for Andy?
Oh man. So the Yankees had the lead, blew that game, and then got it back. Jazz Chisholm played hero for them last night, although I don't understand the headlines. They're like, you owe Jazz an apology. I'm like, he got himself benched. I didn't have anything to do with that. He did come back and help them win the game, but they still got to win this series. Winning a game and a wild card run doesn't mean anything. My guess is that the Yankees survive that series. I would take the Cubs.
Do you like their pitcher tonight?
I'm not even going to try to pronounce it based on how it went for you. Schlittler. I was told by Fesco. Not going to do it.
No, I was saying it wrong earlier. I was saying what you're afraid of, but I found out it's Schlittler.
I'm going to be very careful, personally, for those.
I want the Red Sox to win, but I think it'll be the Yankees
who win.
I
think
it'll
be the Cubs who win, and I think it'll be the Tigers. I think Flaherty over Sassoni or whoever's pitching for them today. I think it is.
Yeah, I think the Tigers get it done. It's been a great first 2 games of that series and the short 3-game series between the 2 squads. But we'll talk more baseball later. Let's go out to Arrowhead. Andy Reid is at the podium.
Really don't have any injuries to mention. Everybody's going to practice today. Jacksonville is a good football team. We look forward to the challenge of playing them. Liam has stepped in there and done a nice job with that group, along with his coordinators and coaches, and they've got tremendous talent, and it shows. So on both sides of the ball and on special teams, and they're leading the league in turnovers or number one defense. I mean, you can start naming a ton of things on both sides of the ball that they're really good at. So I look forward to that challenge. Time's yours.
Yeah, with turnovers, Andy, what stands out in that aspect about what they do defensively?
Yeah, they catch the ball well, first of all, and they work they're disciplined in their lanes on their zone drops, opportunistic on tip balls, and then they've stripped out a couple balls. So they go after it. You got to make sure that you're aware of that as you play them, for sure.
Andy, at the same time, you have only one turnover this season. What have you done as a team to kind of guard against that?
Right. Emphasize it, I guess. But the guys, it really comes down to the guys doing it. And the guys have done a nice job keeping it high and tight when needed and not having tip balls, all the things that kind of lead to those. And then, this is a potential weather game, so you add that into it too. You got to make sure that you really take care of the football.
Andy, you mentioned how the offensive line, both sides of the lines played very well, but especially the offensive lines. We're going to talk to Trey. Just as a quarter way through the season, how do you feel like they've just ascended, in your opinion, after this one?
Yeah, we're getting better there as we go, as they play together more. Trey's a beast. We know that. He gets in there and he'll battle with anybody. Tough guy. And like I said, the other day was that it doesn't all have to be pretty. You want to get the job done, and they're kind of doing that right now. So it's we've got some young guys that are getting better.
It seems like you're trusting Burchard maybe earlier than other rookies in previous years. I guess what has he shown you that he's able to handle that load?
Well, literally, being able to handle it's half the battle. Just from a mental standpoint, he's picked it up well. He's in a good room where guys can help him and have done some of these things that we're asking him to do in the past. So he's willing to listen. Pretty humble kid, and works hard.
Coach, there was obviously a little, not altercation, but a back and forth between Coach Cohen and Robert Salah after the game. I know that's not anything anybody wants, but what is the accusation you like? But talk about stealing signs and that kind of thing. What's the right way? I mean, you're kind of the old guard of the coaching fraternity. What's the right way to handle that?
Yeah, listen, it's been going on that goes on. So if you're going to put a sign out there, I just gave you one, you didn't see it. But but if you're going to put it out there, guys are going to look at it and try to sneak it from you. So the headsets have kind of taken away a little bit of that, but that's what it is. It's all part of it, and kind of move on. So, yeah.
Did you ever have any kind of conversation like that after a game?
No, but listen, those guys know each other. That's the thing. People, they're buddies and competitive, and we're at the same place last year, and so it gets brotherly, So they start arguing. That's all right. They're all right,
Coach, the last time you played a regular season game in Jacksonville, Jawan had the lash of penalties and came out of the game. This is obviously an emotional game for him, and he goes off the quarterback's cadence. So on a Monday night, it's going to be a big crowd. Is there a special focus for him this week towards this game?
Yeah, well, it's home, and he did play there at the same time. So I'm sure it'll be emotional for him that way. And then he knows the other part of that. He knows he's got to focus in on not being too quick off the ball, and but at the same time being quick. It's you got to be on time, spot on, and so he's worked hard at that.
Coach, you kind of touched on this a little bit, but this is a new coaching staff, first time head coach, bunch of brand new coaches coming into a situation. Just how impressive is it that they seem to kind of have a character already this early into a tenure of a guy?
Yeah, I think it's great. It's great for the league, and it's legit. So this is something they're playing good football, and they're coaching well. You can see the guys are listening to them and doing what they want, and that goes off to them. But I think overall it's good. It's good for the league to have that kind of competition, for sure.
Andy, with your wide receivers, you getting Xavier back, obviously, means less playing time for someone this last week with Taekwon. I just wonder, is this going to be like a week-to-week thing to sort of analyze maybe best guys to use? If you want guys to get in a certain role or rhythm?
Yeah, there's one ball, so the guys know that, and as long as you stay humble with it, and you don't get that hungry thing where you start wanting and then don't play. But the guys have done a great job. They're all good buddies, and they're kind of pulling for each other. But you want to maintain that. That's a tough thing. So when you have a number of guys, what's real is there's one football.
Coach, you probably addressed this Monday, and I apologize. How did the offense, was the offense as good as it looked to us just watching the game?
Yeah, there were some good things. There's some things we've got to work on. Can we be better? Absolutely. On the offensive side, Matt has done a good job of finding things with Joe Blameyer. These guys are finding things that work for the guys that are playing, and kind of the offensive line did their thing. They got another huge challenge this week, and this defensive line is a good one. So it's every week is its own deal. But this past week there were some good things that took place. Just got to keep building on that.
Sorry.
Coach, I know we've had Deion Sanders play both ways, a little bit, but no one's really kind of leaned all the way into it. The way the Jaguars are with Travis Hunter, I'm just curious of, what do you think, how difficult that is to try to be up to speed on both sides of the ball, and is there anyone you were ever tempted to try that with?
Yeah, you get a good player, you'd love to be able to do that. I think Troy Brown did it for a little bit, where receiver, DB, and nickel position. So it takes a special guy to jump in there and be able to do that. My hat goes off to the kid. That's not. It's hard being a rookie, and really hard doing both sides, knowing both sides of the ball. So.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
All
right. So that was Andy Reid. We're expected to hear from Patrick Mahomes in just about a minute or so, hopefully, and you will hear that right here on 96.5 The Fan. Not a whole lot, obviously, from Andy today. Good news is, injury-wise, there's really no update. Meaning,
Dan and Fulton both practiced today.
Yeah, they're a pretty healthy squad heading into Monday Night Football down in Jacksonville. Travis Hunter, he was the story around the draft. Because this year the quarterback, it was just Cam Ward. There was no other really quarterback anybody was discussing at the top of the draft. So Travis Hunter was a huge part of the conversation, and it's only 4 games into his career, so it's way too early for people to say, hey, was it worth him being drafted where he was drafted? We are way too early in the process for that. I guess I'm a little surprised that offensively he hasn't flashed as much, but he is a rookie, and they are trying to have him figure out both sides of the ball.
He's not really playing enough of either yet, and so that's been a bit confusing for a guy that you spent that kind of draft pick on. He's not non-existent. I think he's averaging 30 yards of receiving per game, so it's not that he's never on the field or has no impact in their offense at all, but it's he's not playing quite enough. And I was trying to think back, when he it was who would Andy have been tempted by to play both sides of the ball? Tyreek would have been an obvious answer at the time just because of the athleticism.
Too small on this. How
corner. I just
he played.
He's not tall.
I don't know about that.
You think he's too tall, too short?
Yeah.
What about safety? Too short to play any?
He's 5'10", listed at 5'10".
I don't think he's 5'10".
Listed at 5'10".
There's a lot of corners who are 5'10".
I've stood next to Tyreek. I don't think he's 5'10".
Yeah, that's the thing. He's listed at 5'10". I don't think he's that.
He could also be strong safety.
That's what I was saying. Maybe you could get away. But
definitely not a cover safety.
The speed and the ball skills. He can jump up high enough. His height matters less for him than it does for other guys. Who else would it have been in his?
Well, based on the hands we just saw, Chanel could play tight end as well.
Or fullback. You know what? Honestly, if Andy was going to play someone both ways, it would definitely be a guy like Chanel fullback. Yeah. I can't carry a fullback, but I still want one. Leo, welcome to the game. Just go ahead and create a lane for Pacheco if you don't mind. Rather than have the extra lineman, they sometimes put in the fullback spot, you just put Leo back there to shove people forward, and that's probably the answer. He's done it a couple of plays. He just never played a player there full time.
This is Cody and Gold on 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ, FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City and Odyssey Station. We are going to head out to Arrowhead in just a couple of minutes and hear from one Patrick Mahomes heading into a place in a Jags team. I think Danan brought up, the Chiefs historically, even before Patrick Mahomes, have had very good results against Jacksonville. It goes back to our conversation earlier about, look, the Jags have not been a great franchise over the last, I know they're one of the younger franchises, but still just have not been as effective as some other franchises in the league. But the Chiefs have won 8 in a row. Patrick Mahomes also, he has faced the Jags 5 times. He is 5-0 against them, obviously, based on the record I told you before. And in the state of Florida, Mahomes is 5-1. His only loss, a Super Bowl to the Bucs.
Oh, the one in Tampa. Is it still I can't decide because the 2 Super Bowls we had in home state, should have been a bigger deal that if the game was close, maybe I would have cared that it was in Tampa.
Yeah, they got their ass kicked. That's why it wasn't a bigger story. Going in, it was though. We talked about it. I mean, that was also such a weird time. I mean, it was for only first responders in the stadium. It was COVID going on still.
But it was a home game, but people weren't in the stadium, so it wasn't really like a home. I'm just saying there had to have been some comfort for the Buccaneers in that game. But they got beat so bad, I can't even use it as an excuse.
Right.
Had they lost 20-17, I think people made a bigger deal about the home. You had to play on the road in the Super Bowl. This is unfair. How dare you?
True.
And I think it would have been a bigger deal, but because of that, it's not the case. Chiefs had to build a new stadium and then get all of this, and then they could get there.
And the Jags have a chance to be just for Mahomes. These are things that ultimately for him, he's probably not going to care about. I just think they're interesting around Mahomes and the Jaguars. This could be the first team in his career that he gets to 6-0 against.
Interesting.
Because he's dominated the division, but the Jags would be his only 6-0 opponent. He's 4-0 against the 49ers.
Oh, 2 of those are in the Super Bowl.
5-0 against the 49ers.
And 2 of those are in the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
49ers fans must.
Yeah. The Chiefs haven't lost to the Niners in a while. They beat them in the regular season last year. And obviously, you referenced the Super Bowls.
Must hate the Chiefs.
And then Mahomes, early on in his career, one of his more impressive touchdown throws was, I believe, against the 49ers. Was that the Chris Conley touchdown in the corner?
It was.
Yeah.
Yep, one of the very first early ones was there. But, I mean, look, here's the thing. It's like we were asking ourselves that same question. We'll hear from Patrick Mahomes in just a minute. But we were asking ourselves that same question, which is, as you view the Chiefs, they're judged only in how far they get in the playoffs, if they win a Super Bowl, and not even how far you get in the playoffs anymore. Now when you got 3 Super Bowl titles and have attended 5 of the last 6, I think the only chance for the 1 seed to still be alive is if they win the next 4 games, all of them. That includes this Monday night. That includes next Sunday night football against the Lions, the Monday night football against the Commanders the week before they take on the Bills. They're going to have to win every single game before they take on the Buffalo Bills if they want any shot at the 1 seed. The division, however, what's interesting about that, Gold, is they could be back tied for the division this weekend. It's not even that crazy. Beat the Jags on Monday Night Football. Chargers, who have massive issues on the offensive line, lose to the Commanders, and Jaden Daniels back. Maybe no Terry McLaurin, so they're not at full strength. But Jaden Daniels back, I mean, that's certainly a winnable game. I don't know what the line is on it, but that's certainly a winnable game for the Commanders.
I think it's 2.5. I think the Chargers are 2.5-point favorites or something like that. Yeah, it can swing. The Chargers temporarily, of course, have the head-to-head, so they'd be tied with the Chargers, but that doesn't matter because you play them later on in the season as well. But yeah, it's just a reminder how quickly things can shift in the NFL and in the divisional race and all that. The number 1 seed, I still think, and it's not even because the Chiefs started 0-2 as we discussed earlier. I just think the Bills' schedule always, and this was before they even beat the Ravens in week 1, the schedule always set up perfectly for the Bills to be the number 1 seed in the AFC this year. And then it got even stronger, not only with the Chiefs 0-2 start, but they already have a head-to-head win against Baltimore, and Baltimore clearly is not going to be, I think, I can say clearly, in the number 1 seed conversation with where they're at and some of the injuries and everything. So to me,
especially because they don't have the tiebreaker against the Bills or the Chiefs.
Correct. Yeah, it's kind of impossible.
Yeah.
The Bills, I think, could win 14, but even if you think the Bills only win 13, well, then you have to win the head-to-head if you're Kansas City, because the Chiefs are not, I don't believe, getting to 14 wins, even if they rattle off and get hot. So to me, I could see the Chiefs getting to 13 if everything went great, but you would have to have the head-to-head then over Buffalo, otherwise it goes to Buffalo. So that's, as much as they could lose one more of these next couple, Cody, heading into the Bills game, but they have to beat the Bills to have any shot at that, and I don't know if there's going to be enough wins to get to that point in time, unless you think the Bills are going to really choke down the stretch of the season. And I think their schedule is way too soft for that to happen.
Let me lay out the schedule for it. That's the issue. Let's just say there's one game that they lose that they shouldn't. So as I go through these, we'll assume that all these ones were like, that's a win, that should be a win, that one of those will be a loss. losable games they have left on their schedule. There's not that many, Gold. This week on Sunday Night Football is actually one of them, even though they're at home against New England. But the Patriots are playing good football. At the Falcons, that's not a losable game. At the Panthers, that's not a losable game. Chiefs, there you go. There's 2 losses hypothetically. And obviously the Chiefs are going to have to beat the Bills to get the 1 seed anyway. At Miami, I don't feel real losable right now. At home versus the Bucks, okay, right? And they should have a lot of their weapons back by then. That's losable. Not the Texans. Steelers can beat anybody. Bengals by week 14. I mean, unless Joe Burrow's magically back and healed. No. Patriots again, maybe. Browns, no. Eagles, yes. So there are 4 or 5 losable games for the Bills. So it's like 14-3, 13-4. That's plausible.
All right, let's go out to Arrowhead and hear from Patrick Mahomes on 96.5 The Fan.
Yeah, I mean, I think first off, they're very fundamentally sound. And when you have a fundamentally sound defense that's that talented, with the amount of players that they have at every single level of the defense, that's a hard defense to go against, and they do a great job attacking the football. They're causing the turnovers. It's not like the turnovers are just happening. They're punching the football out, they're tipping passes, they're intercepting the football when they get their hands on it. And so it'll be a great challenge for us. We have to make sure that we're really fundamentally sound as well, and we can't give them any opportunity because they're capitalizing on them.
Isolating Hines Allen, I guess, what type of challenge does he in particular?
Yeah, I mean, he's just like the perfect build for a defensive end. I mean, just fast, he's tall, he just has a great variety of pass rush moves, and then he can drop in coverage if necessary as well. And so he's done a great job in this league for a couple of years now, and so I think he's kind of in that perfect moment where he's kind of a veteran and kind of knows the veteran stuff, but still has the athletic ability to make stuff happen as well. And so a great football player that we'll have to account for on every play.
Patrick, when you went back and watched this game, was it kind of how you'd seen it immediately afterwards, or what stood out to you?
Yeah, I think the execution, was the biggest thing. I mean, obviously the guys made plays, and we were able to score a lot of points, but I'm always big on the execution and executing on the plays that are called and everybody being on the same page. And I think that was something that we did at a very high level this last game, and something that hopefully we can continue to do as the season goes on.
There were a couple plays where it seemed like there was enough times where maybe you could have looked to run, but you still stayed in there for an extra long time. Was that something that stood out to you?
Yeah, I think it just continues to build trust with the offensive line, and they're doing a great job of pass protecting. And so for me, just being able to trust it, sit in that pocket, maybe that extra tenth of a second, and give guys chances down the field, something I continue to even get better at now. But I think I did a better job of that this last week for sure.
Hey, Patrick, tight window throws, you've been trying to give guys chances. You said, going back to the one for Juju last week, what goes into a play like that to make it where it's a real thing?
Yeah, I think it was we schemed it up very well, where we knew kind of the coverages that the defense was playing down there, and we knew that it was going to be a tight window. But the way they played their coverage, there was a spot on the thing, and Juju ran the route perfectly, and so I was ready to throw on time. And we had an option to go after that, obviously, but the window was big enough for me to throw the ball, and then a physical catch by Juju there in the end zone and making the play happen.
And real quick, you guys have had more tight window throws, more deep throws, but not as many turnovers. I guess what do you attribute?
Yeah, that speaks to the guys that are making the plays. I'm giving guys chances down the field, and they're making plays happen. It's either them or nobody else, and so that's something that we preached all off season, and it's good to see that success happening, and let's continue it as the season goes on.
Andy was asked about the Lee Cohen, Robert Saleh sign stealing thing. He kind of laughed it off, I guess. Do you have to be any more cognizant of something like that this week?
I honestly don't really understand. I mean, we switch signals like every single week, so I guess maybe I have no idea, honestly. So it's something that I don't necessarily understand, but we'll make sure to switch our signals, I guess.
How much time do you spend on that every week to learn new things? Is that a big part of the week?
I mean, for us, we just try to scout the defense, and we try to learn what we can from them, and as far as our coverages and stuff like that. And then for us, we like I said, we switch signals every single week, knowing that the game is on TV and teams watch that, and so we try to make sure that we're interchanging that stuff so they can't get a beat on what we're trying to do.
Patrick, I know you love watching film, and in particular, just guys across the league. Did you this week spend a little more extra time just watching what Travis Hunter has at least attempted to do these first 4 weeks playing offense and defense?
I haven't watched a ton. I mean, obviously I've watched his defensive snaps now, but I know he was a super talented player in college, and it was fun to watch him at Colorado make plays happen. And coming out in the draft process, I always watch those receivers, and so he's special when he gets the football in his hand and being able to make guys break tackles and make guys miss. And then seeing him play defense now, I mean, he's done a great job of I mean, obviously with his defense, done a great job in this scheme of playing man and zone and being around the football as well. And so a special football player and someone that we'll have to account for when he's out there on the field.
When you guys went back and looked at Rashard Smith getting a little more each week, what did you think this week with the role he had and how he did?
Yeah, I think he's done a great job. It's just like any other rookie in this offense. You kind of give him more and more each and every week, and he's done a good job of taking it in and going out there and executing at a high level. And so we'll continue to do that. It helps that he's played receiver a lot, so he can run routes, and he also played running back, so he can run between the tackles. And those are special football players to have because it keeps the defenses guessing, and that's what you want to do. You want them on their heels and then be able to attack them in a variety of different ways.
Patrick, with the way you guys were for almost 8 drives there, putting yourself in a position to score, how do you guys kind of keep that edge about you and carry it into this week?
Yeah, I think there's still a lot to learn from. I mean, early in the first half there were some of those drives that stalled out, kind of like we had been doing earlier in the season. So trying to find ways to execute, especially earlier in football games, to build leads. I mean, like I've always said, when you build a lead with Spags calling the defense, it really unleashes him to really go out there. And so we'll continue to work at the little things fundamentally and try to all be on the same page so that we can execute it at a higher level early and then keep that momentum through the rest of the game.
Sorry?
Patrick, I know you're focused on what you're doing and everything, but I'm just curious, the fans are keeping an eye on the Chargers as that game's happening and everything. And I know it's early in the season, but do you, if you're looking at your phone, listening to your music, you see the updates, are you aware of what's going on in the division and around the league before you play, when you play those later windows?
Yeah, but like you said, it's early in the season, so we know we still have a lot coming our way. But I mean, I'm obviously rooting against them. So like if I see like the Giants are winning, I'm happier than if they weren't winning. So it's I'm not necessarily like keeping up to date like all the time, but if it's on the TV or if I'm at Arrowhead and they show a highlight, I'll definitely look and see who's winning the game.
Patrick, it looked like you were watching the game the other night with Tyreek from the Prayers Up tweet. But, have you talked to Tyreek, and what were your thoughts when you saw that?
Yeah, I mean, I talked to him a little bit, but I think more than anything, just sending prayers his way because I mean, you never want to see that happen in football, and it's part of the game, but it's a terrible part of the game, and I know how he works, and so I'm excited to watch his comeback now. Cause I know he'll get to work and be back at it, but obviously praying for him and his family because I mean, you never want to see that on the football field.
Herbie?
Patrick, I know you don't really pay too much attention to your individual accomplishments, but 252 regular season touchdowns, not the youngest player. What does it mean to pass a guy like Aaron Rodgers? And you guys are kind of like friends. Have you heard from him?
No, I've not heard from him. I mean, I think he's like he was just in Dublin or something like that. So I don't know if he wants to reach out from there. But no, he's I mean, to pass him, and as far as right now, I mean, it's really cool. But I got a long ways to go, and the amount of touchdowns he's thrown, and that was someone I watched growing up. And so I'll continue to just get better and better, and try to score as many points as possible, and more than anything, win as many football games as possible. And I think at the end of my career, I'll be happy with where I'm at.
Steve?
Patrick, Xavier brought it seemed to bring that spark to the offense this past week. You obviously know what you can do. Did you exceed your expectations at all from coming off with that injury?
I mean, obviously, just you never know coming off injury, but that's what I expected from the beginning of the season. I think the best way to put it is he's a guy that can win one-on-one against really everybody in the league, and so when you have that much explosiveness and you can run routes like he does, it brings a lot of attention to him. And so you saw that they were having to make decisions if they were going to play man coverage or if they were going to play zone coverage, and then it helped get other guys open as well. And so as well as just bringing energy. I mean, he has a lot of energy on the football field. He's got celebration, it seems like, every single week, and so I think that's contagious, and it brought energy to the entire sideline and the entire team, and it was a great thing to get him out there.
Last one, Sam.
You didn't go against Noah Williams a ton, probably in camp. I know he wasn't playing a ton with the ones, but did his physicality stand out to you in the reps you did get against him?
Yeah, I think for sure. I mean, I usually have a pretty good feel for especially the DBs and stuff like that, and
Well, we'll never know Patrick Mahomes' thoughts on Noah Williams, unfortunately.
Well, we talked about Noah Williams earlier, and I wanted to know his actual answer.
I was curious. If you want to hear from Mahomes, he'll be joining CDOT. How about that? Later
think he asked him about Noah Williams.
I don't know. Later on today, but unfortunately cut out there a little bit for Patrick Mahomes. A couple things. A couple of things that he was asked around the Jags and their defense, and Travis Hunter continues to be brought up throughout today as it's an interesting player.
An interesting player,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, very interesting play. You don't have anybody else in the league that is playing on both sides of the ball. And as Mahomes said, obviously he's worried about him on the defensive side, not really worried about him what he is as a wide receiver, other than when he was, looking around the draft and stuff. He obviously watches, as he said, all the wide receivers. And not that the Chiefs forever are going to be in position to draft Travis Hunter, but you still are well aware. Yeah.
Would have been interesting if they were.
Yeah.
A lot of things would have had to go bad. Or he would have had to fall for just no reason.
That was a genuine I'm not worried about the Stein stealing stuff. Like, that wasn't just I'm.
He's like, I don't even know what they're talking about.
Yeah, that was like a real I don't even know what this.
We change our signals all the time.
I don't think he's worried, and the Chiefs are worried about the Liam Cohen alleged sign stealing thing. Again, this is not the same as like the baseball sign stealing stuff. This is so different. It's why I didn't understand Robert Saleh and making a big. I didn't have any issue with his comments pregame, but also I don't know why Liam Cohen even had the issue.
Why he had the blow up?
Yeah.
It was a pretty innocuous comment from Saleh. If you go back and listen to the press conference, he mentioned it. He said he complimented them and said they're good at it and that they'll have to, mind their business, like make sure that they're on top of their game. And then Cohen took such great offense. Same thing applies though. I don't think he would have ever said it had his team lost the game.
Yep.
He was just puffing his chest out after his team got the win and felt like he didn't like that they had mentioned him before. That's all.
Coming up in about 15 minutes, we will get to some fantasy football and Guillotine League still live for some of us on this show. For others, we're trying to still do bids and figure that all out. Paul Charchian from Matthew Berry Fantasy Life and Guillotine Leagues will join us. If you guys were curious what Mahomes had to say at the end about Noah Williams, we do have that. If you're really curious, here it is.
Yeah, I think for sure. I usually have a pretty good feel for especially the DBs and stuff like that. And I was talking to Coach Merritt and Coach Spags early about just the way he played. Obviously the physicality, but like he's in the right spot all the time and he's in the right coverage. He has a good instinct for being around the football. And I think that's something that it's hard to learn. You kind of either have that or you don't. And so he's done a great job. I haven't been able to watch a ton of their film, but just from watching the coverages that I've seen, he's done a great job this year. And I think he'll continue to get better.
Okay. Again, we talked about him earlier in the show. It just looks like yet another hit from, like they did it again. The Chiefs found another corner and not in the first or the second or the third. Like they find guys 3rd through 7th round at corner who would start on so many and do start. Like they leave here and they start for other teams time and time and time again. So, and I always think that there's got to be a benefit as a defensive player to have to go up against Patrick Mahomes in a practice. Like if you're Noah Williams and you got to spend all the training camp trying to guard Rashee Rice with Patrick Mahomes throwing the football, probably a little trial by fire. Not an easy day at work, certainly. So hopefully that kind of stuff made him better too. Very interesting player this year.
All right, let's get to a little all 32.
I have been genuinely kind of stunned. This is kind of a fantasy football thing, but also just like a round the league thing. The amount of guys that we expected to have massive years or big years or be amongst the best wide receivers in the NFL, it's been really quiet. Really, 2 guys, I think Jackson Smith and Jigba and Puka Nacua have been the 2 guys who have either exceeded or lived up to expectation. Justin Jefferson's been okay. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I'd say he's probably up there. Everyone else, Gold, has either been hurt or quiet. And look, I know some can be explained away, right? Jamar Chase doesn't have his starting quarterback, or Malik's neighbor's case, who wasn't having a great season before that either, eventually did get hurt. But it's been a surprisingly down year for star wide receivers. A.J. Brown, CeeDee Lamb got hurt, but was quiet before. Like, it just feels like a thing across the league where a lot of guys are underperforming the preseason expectation.
Yeah, Brian Thomas,
that's another one.
We were just talking about. All these guys, to me, my guesses are going to get going here very soon. A.J. Brown's also just not getting targeted very often. That's the whole story in Philly, how he's upset about not getting the football. So some of that is just the way their offense is running. Let's remember, it's still the first month of the season. But yes, teams are getting some of these top wide receivers get off to a little bit of a slower start. And from a fantasy football perspective, that's probably irritating some people. But I'm not suddenly thinking that CeeDee Lamb's not a top receiver. Neither are you. We're not suddenly thinking that Brian Thomas is not a top receiver. But it is interesting to follow and probably has impacted some people on the fantasy football route.
Can you guess who? I want you to just real quickly try to guess like 3 other names in the top 10 at wide receiver this year.
Based on yardage.
Okay. Puka Nacua and Jackson Smith and Jigba already told you are 1 and 2.
Only wide receivers or tight ends too?
Only there are no tight ends in the top 10.
I guess I'll go Egbuka.
Emeka Egbuka just outside at 12.
Okay.
Close though. Take a couple more guesses. We don't have to spend too much time on it.
Pickens.
George Pickens is 10th. So good job. 300 yards for him. Just give me one more guess.
Quentin Johnston.
Quentin Johnson is 3rd in the NFL in
He almost has
receiving
200
yards.
more yards than Lad McConkey does, I believe.
3rd. Yeah. Ricky Pearsall, by the way, 4th. Garrett Wilson is actually still there at 6th. Zay Flowers, 9th. Christian McCaffrey, the only non-wide receiver in the top 10. He's the 8th leading wide receiver in the NFL, or yardage guy in the NFL.
Where do the Niners rank in passing then? They got 2 guys in the top 10?
Total passing yards? I don't know. I'd have to.
In terms of, like, are they like a top 5 passing offense?
Maybe. I also just think that those have been the only 2 people to throw to for the first month of the season. George Kittle got hurt in the first quarter, and every other wide receiver on their team is hurt. So,
similar to what you're saying with production of wide receivers, how about just an interesting trend to follow in the NFL season heading into Week 5? So we've had upsets, but not a ton, all right? I'm talking big favorites. Not a team that's a 1-point favorite, but we haven't had any real big favorites lose other than 2. Obviously, the Packers a couple weeks ago lost to the Browns, all right?
Maybe the Giants, Chargers last week?
Teams that, yeah, exactly. Teams that, they're the other one. Teams that have closed as a favorite of 6 or more points are 16-2-1 outright winners. So if you do if you're doing survivor pools, the reason why pick them, but if you're doing survivor pools and your pool still has, a ton of people left, 75 or 80% of your pool alive, that's because some people will just take big favorites. Anybody that plays survivor long enough knows that that'll get you eventually. So far, it really hasn't, unless you took the Packers or I guess the Chargers this past week. It's the fewest outright losses from favorites of 6 or more through 4 games since 1979. So it's an odd start. Big favorites are not getting upset. You would be like, well, duh. But I'm telling you, it's at a rate that normally big favorites are losing more, and they're not so far.
How many teams are that big of a favorite this weekend, do you think?
I think of the games, remember there's bye weeks factoring in now, I think 5 or 6.
Wow, there's still that many that are that big of a favorite this week?
So one of them's tonight. One of them's tonight in the Rams at 7.5 or
8.5.
8.5 in some books. 7.5 on FanDuel still. I think 8.5 over at DraftKings. You also have the Raiders as 6.5-point dogs, so Colts 6.5-point favorites. You have the Cardinals 8.5-point favorites against the Titans. Bengals 10.5-point dogs to the Lions. Bills 8.5-point favorites against the Patriots.
Should the Cardinals be 8.5-point favorites against anybody?
Well, Tennessee.
As we have to make our picks later this week, are the contest line numbers out?
Right now, they just came out.
We're going to have to make our picks later this week.
I will say
that very well might be on my list.
The only thing with Tennessee, the Titans in their last 25 games are 4-20-1 against the spread. The worst mark for any team in the wild card era.
That's not great.
Yeah. All right. Drew, where you got?
I'm actually going to change mine. So I went ahead and I looked. The Niners are 2nd in the league in team passing. Brock Purdy.
They've been behind.
Brock Purdy and Mac Jones have both played the same amount of games. Brock Purdy has 4 touchdowns to 4 picks. Mac Jones has 4 touchdowns to 1 interception. The 49ers shouldn't have paid Brock Purdy.
Ooh. Because of 4 games?
They shouldn't have paid Brock Purdy.
I made the argument before.
And now, as a result, they're going to have to change the way they pay their players going forward, where they could have just done the same thing as what they did when they first drafted Brock Purdy, and that's load up the defense and get the offense also ready to go. And then just surround your quarterback with everything else he needs to win.
So who would have been the quarterback?
Mac Jones.
Well, that would be
Mac
Jones.
In the offseason, they were not going to actually go in with Mac Jones. You know what I mean?
Well, I know, but that still doesn't mean they made a mistake, I guess, in hindsight.
Yeah, I will say,
we might look back and be like, they shouldn't have paid him that
I
contract.
don't think Brock Purdy is all that great, but I also don't believe realistically they were just going to let him walk. And if you said, they would trade him, that was my whole scenario. I thought that Brock Purdy was going to get traded to the Jets in the offseason.
Yeah, we all kind of thought he was a likely or possible trade candidate. Obviously, because they just signed the contract, he's not going anywhere.
They should have let Purdy go and just brought in Sam Darnold again.
My problem
is
that
would have been
I think is what it was is that Kyle Shanahan's always been in search of his guy, and everybody thinks he could get there if he just has his guy. But in the end, you're still taking a chance on a guy who now is starting to turn into a little more oft-injured and was not a heralded guy coming into the league. So what are the odds that his play is just going to improve as Mr. Irrelevant? It was always kind of I felt like they liked the low floor of Brock Purdy more than they loved the high ceiling, and
Or
that's
the
always
high floor.
High floor,
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
versus the high ceiling, and I feel
Yeah.
like that just ran them into problems.
So somebody asked CMC over rushing yards. They ranked 28th in the league in rushing. They ranked second in passing.
Yeah.
I don't know what his number is. You almost would rather bet
The only
him
bet
receiving.
the only bet I like tonight on McCaffrey, over 16.5 rush attempts. He to me, that's fair. And then because of all the injuries, this is the night where you could find anytime touchdown on some other random 49er to score. Further down the depth chart, Brian Robinson Jr. We were looking up Sky Moore. We can joke, but these are the guys he has tonight. Mac Jones, Sky Moore, MVS. These are real offensive weapons for
Sky
him.
Moore breakout game tonight, guys.
I will say that's the one thing I'd say on Purdy is this year he hasn't looked good, but I mean, they also just haven't had anyone throwing him the football.
All right, up next, let's talk some fantasy football. Paul Charchian from Matthew Berry Fantasy Life from Guillotine Leagues tells us what to do about A.J. Brown over in Philadelphia. What about tonight with Christian McCaffrey? And also, does Houston have any firepower in fantasy football to take advantage of this Ravens defense this weekend?
What's up, Kansas City? This is Bobby Witt Jr., and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
Trust, price, and ease of transaction. That is GiveMeTheVin.com. We love to buy cars. People don't trust car buyers. People think the price is going to be wrong, and people think it's going to be a hassle. Trust, price, and ease of transaction. That is what we do at GiveMeTheVin.com, and that's what makes us America's best car buyer. Go to GiveMeTheVin.com right now and get a quote on yours.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Man, if your stream isn't as strong as it used to be, or you're taking more breaks to the bathroom than the last 2 minutes of a televised football game,
There's another timeout. We'll be back after this.
it's time to get checked. An enlarged prostate, or BPH, could be the cause. And Kansas City Urology Care is here to help. Fast answers, trusted care. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
Every Kansas City neighborhood has its own buyer preferences and price points. Dawn Sharp at the Sharp Homes team's deep understanding of various neighborhoods means they know exactly what buyers in your specific market are looking for and willing to pay. And then the Sharp Homes team can give you options. Do you want to skip the showings and open houses and go straight to sold? Contact them to discuss their instant offer program. Contact the only agent I would trust if I needed to sell my home. It's Dawn Sharp with the Sharp Homes team, brokered by Epic Realty. Google them, Sharp Homes team, and start packing. Hey, Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/Royal Rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Your favorite neighborhood spots run unsquare. You know the ones. Maybe it's the popular shop that just opened a new location by you, or the big sports bar that's always packed on game day. These places make the neighborhood, and the money spent there stays in your community. Square powers more than 4 million neighborhood businesses worldwide. To learn more, go to square.com. Or just stop by your favorite local business. See you in the neighborhood. Square. For more than half a century, contractors and trade professionals have relied on WeatherGuard for heavy-duty truck and van storage equipment, not just to protect their tools, but to protect their professional reputations. Whether it's inside or outside of work vehicles, a WeatherGuard badge means pros can trust that their hard-earned name is in good hands. Since 1968 and every day since, WeatherGuard has been protecting anything it takes to build a professional reputation. WeatherGuard, established in 1968, proven every day. WeatherGuard.com.
Let me tell you about this new Pretzel Cheddar Club. Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Grilled, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
We'll get to the random question of the day here in about 12 minutes or so. Thanks for hanging out with us on a Thursday. It's Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Let's talk a little fantasy football with our guy Paul Charchian from Guillotine Leagues and Matthew Berry Fantasy Life. He's brought to you by Twin Peaks, Eats, Drinks, Scenic Views. Charge, everybody feeling better in Kansas City with how the football team is doing. Fantasy football-wise, we were just saying, it's been a tough start if you drafted wide receivers, at least studs, high in your draft. A lot of them haven't performed up to expectation yet.
Yeah, most of them, it feels like, have not lived up to expectations. And normally wide receivers, the position we go to get consistency because those guys get hurt the least. They generally, this good wide receiver has got a good quarterback. We can count on that. That's not been the case this year really at all. Other than Puka Nacua. I mean, he's the one guy, right? He'll play tonight. Puka has been awesome. And if we had to anoint an MVP right now or an offensive player of the year, I think Puka would have to be in that conversation. We are talking about a guy who's number one in really every stat that's relevant to a wide receiver: targets, receptions, yards. He's number 2 in wide receiver rushing yards. He's on pace to break the reception record and the receiving yard record. I mean, Puka Nacua to me has been kind of the exception to the rule with all of these struggling wideouts.
What do you do with some of them, though? Like, we have people in the text line saying, should I bench Brian Thomas Jr.? And I can make an argument because the Chiefs have been very good against number 1 wide receivers in the last 3 weeks. Or A.J. Brown or others. Do you actually sit these guys, or is it just a ride out and your fantasy team stinks if they stink and it is what it is?
Well, every situation is different, but let's talk about A.J. Brown for a minute. Right now, he's 47th in fantasy points scored at the wide receiver position, but even the 47 is generous because 3 of his 4 games have been stone cold duds in which he has ranked as wide receiver 70, wide receiver 97, and wide receiver 100. I mean, how does A.J. Brown be the 100th highest scoring wide receiver in any game? It's awful. Part of the issue, Eagles just aren't passing. They're the league's most run-heavy team. They're just throwing 25 passes per game. Get this. 51% of A.J. Brown's passes have been deemed catchable by Pro Football Focus.
Ugh.
That's terrible. And we know Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback, so you presumably that's going to come around at some point, and it'll probably get better. But the problem for anybody this week is they got the Broncos. There's Patrick Surtain, Riley Moss, arguably the best cornerback duo in the league. So I can't tell you it gets better for A.J. Brown necessarily. I've got him ranked at wide receiver 17. So
okay.
I'm holding out some optimism. If it were a bye week, other than the bye week, he'd probably be closer to like wide receiver 25. But yeah, it's hard to bench him. And as soon as you do, A.J. Brown's going to go off.
Yeah, you'll regret it the second it happens, and you'll die starting him every week until it happens.
Exactly.
A game that is taking place early Sunday in London. You got the Browns and the Vikings, which seems like a fantasy football disaster. Lowest total of the week as well. Justin Jefferson has also been disappointing given the quarterback situation. I mean, is Jordan Mason in play? I mean, who's in play here?
This is not only the lowest number for this weekend, the over-under here, which I think it's 34, points. Lowest over-under for the Vikings in 20 years.
Jeez.
This has got it's Carson Wentz going up against Dylan Gabriel. This should not. By the way, as a side note, because as you guys know, I do the Chiefs pregame show. I have to do the Vikings pregame show at 5:30. Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. Don't stay out too late there, Charch, on Saturday night.
Yeah, no kidding. Normally at that 5:30, my bloodstream is like 2/3 Ambien. I mean, who knows how this is going to go? Could be anything might happen. So let's talk about this. Are there any Vikings in play against the best defense in the league, the Cleveland Browns? Which sounds like a weird thing to say, but I think it's irrefutable.
It's been pretty clear that for multiple years they've been in that category.
Yeah. Right, but they're so much better this year. It's remarkable to the point where you have to worry about everybody. The really tough call, because you're going to start Justin Jefferson every week, and that's fine. I think you get modest results, but you still absolutely start him. Jordan Mason is the tricky guy to figure out because he's the Vikings' workhorse runner, and there's not that many of them in the NFL, so you feel like you have to start them all no matter what. Vikings are going to be short at least 3 starting offensive linemen, and one of the backups behind one of the missing guys also not expected to play. And Cleveland's run defense is so good, they're the only team allowing negative yards before contact.
Crazy.
On average, they're hitting opposing running backs behind the line of scrimmage. They rank number 1 in yards per carry, just 2.7 yards per carry. That's half a yard better than the next closest team. And they've already smoked David Montgomery, 12 yards. Josh Jacobs, 30 yards. Derrick Henry, 23 yards. Jordan Mason is at best a flex play, and if you've got another option, you may just want to take it.
What about for the players like me, right? I think on a team I lost both Bucky Irving this week and Malik Neighbors for the season. Of the backups available, Charch, I don't care if we're going down the depth chart, the Michael Carters of the world or Wan'Dale Robinson, of the guys who stand to benefit from the injuries in a fantasy perspective, which of those players do you like the best?
Well, all right. The Cardinals running back situation is exploitable because there's a couple of guys there that you can go for. They've got Amari DiMercato, who has looked good as the backup to Trey Benson because Benson is out. So you could go to DiMercato, or Michael Carter announced himself as the starter yesterday. He said, I'm going from the practice squad to the starter. Isn't this wild? And so it appears that Michael Carter will be the starter for the Arizona running back. So you could pivot to him as a possibility. They're playing Tennessee. So both of these guys, viable pivots, and DiMercato can catch. And so he could help out from a PPR standpoint, give you a few catches that way. A couple others that you could give some thought to. Darius Slayton and Wan'Dale Robinson with the Giants. You mentioned Malik Neighbors is out. So those guys are potential pivots. The only concern there with the Giants, they're not letting Jackson Dart throw downfield, which I can understand because, he's still just making his second NFL start. And the first NFL start, I think he threw 5 yards downfield per pass. That's it. So, and the schedule's not ideal either. But yeah, Slayton and Robinson are possible guys. If nobody picked up Kendre Miller in your league, the Saints running back, he looked amazing last week, and maybe he can build on some of the momentum that he had last week against the Bills.
We're talking to Paul Charchian here on 96.5 The Fan. What about the Houston Texans in that backfield? We start there. A Texans team that's been very disappointing, but Nick Chubb, you got the Marks kid that everybody probably picked up on waivers yesterday, if they didn't already have him.
Marks looks great. They both do, and fantastic matchup incoming here. Woody Marks is the rookie who can catch better than Nick Chubb. Well, most of us can catch better than Nick Chubb, so it's not saying a ton. But a really nice opportunity for both Chubb and Woody Marks. They're going up against Baltimore. This Baltimore defense has been savaged by injury. Remember what the Lions defense looked like at the end of last year?
Yeah.
This is the same thing. Here's your Ravens defense in ranks. How they rank in fantasy points allowed to quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends. They are 29th, dead last, 27th, and 23rd. That's the Ravens. I mean, I don't think anybody saw this coming. They're going to be missing half of their starting defense on Sunday. So Nick Chubb is in play, Woody Marks is in play, and one of my favorite sleepers for this week is wide receiver Christian Kirk. He runs from the slot. And Baltimore's slot corner is Marlon Humphrey. He's out. His replacement is an undrafted rookie named Keon Martin, who has been targeted so far in very limited duty 7 times. He's given up 7 catches and a touchdown. So Christian Kirk, a really nice pivot if available in your league. Absolutely startable.
For tonight's game, we obviously understand Christian McCaffrey, especially in the passing game, has been an absolute monster. Is there another 49ers wide receiver you would play? I know that sounds silly, but I mean, they will have to throw to someone.
Yeah. Right, that's the whole thing, right? Kittle and Ayuk are still on IR. Brock Purdy's been ruled out. Juwan Jennings is ruled out. Ricky Pearsall's been ruled out. How tantalizing is this, Alex and Cody? Mac Jones to Kendrick Bourne. That is the least exciting Thursday night duo since Two Broke Girls was on the air. Thank you for the pity chuckle.
Yes, no, I liked it. Yes. But also, it's just the 49ers... I think that I don't even like starting Rams. I will start Rams, but I don't even like starting Rams necessarily against them because they've turned into this team that's decided they figured out how to make teams play hideous football. Every game they play is just awful.
To me, I think the Rams are going to get ahead early because the 49ers aren't going to be able to do much offensively, and they'll have short fields to work with. And I see the Rams. I'm not hesitating to start any of the Rams that I would normally start, and including Kyron Williams, who's kind of an unsung hero of this offense. 7th in carries. He's top 13 carries in 21 straight games. I mean, that is the kind of consistency that guillotine players especially absolutely love. And he hasn't fallen below 56 rushing yards in those same 21 straight games. I mean, Derrick Henry has been below 56 rushing yards in 3 of his 4 games this year, to give you a sense of what 56 yards is worth. And San Francisco is just a middle of the pack run defense. So yeah, Kyron Williams to me, super safe start as always.
Couple quick rapid fire ones from the text line. Someone saying Baker Mayfield or Jared Goff as their quarterback. I think Baker's is questionable heading into the game.
He is, and with all the dearth of receiving options that they've got right now, let's just stick with Jared Goff, is who I've got ranked about 6 spots higher right now.
Ironically enough, someone must also be on the Bucs. Someone said, should I start Rachaad White or Marks as my running back 2?
Well, okay, Bucky Irving's not going to play. Rachaad White's going to get the vast majority of the work, and so I do like Rachaad White quite a bit in this opportunity. He is a good pass-catching back as well, so he can walk right into those receptions. He's not going to have to share as much as Woody Marks. Woody Marks does have the super easy opportunity against that Baltimore defense, but Rachaad White's just going to have numbers on his side. A tougher matchup against Seattle, but they're giving up the 19th most fantasy points to running back. So I've got Rachaad White up at running back number 20.
It was official today. Kyle Hamilton did not practice, which is only going to make that Ravens defense even worse.
Geez. Wow. I hadn't even included, when I said the defense was going to be missing 6 starters, I wasn't even including Kyle Hamilton.
Their best defensive player? Yeah.
Right. So. That's a massive loss. Oh, man.
You liked offensive players for the Texans before.
Think about this. For the epic rivalry that's developed, Chiefs and Ravens, and as good as that rivalry has been, second probably only to the Bills for out of the division, I would say, in my mind. Ravens are dead. They lose to Houston here, and they're underdogs. Their season's over. They're 1-4. That's a 1% playoff chance when you start 1-4. Their season could be over right here.
Charch, appreciate it. Set that alarm pretty early on Sunday. Don't miss that Vikings game.
I'll still be drunk.
There you go. Paul Charchian.
That works too.
There you go. He joins us each and every Thursday, gives the lowdown on fantasy football. He's brought to you by Twin Peaks, Eats, Drinks, Scenic Views. My favorite thing, this is something that I don't know how many of you will appreciate as much. Anytime we have Charch on, so we're talking fantasy football. I'm in multiple fantasy football leagues, as a lot of you are. And obviously you get notifications on your phone. And I swear this is the third week in a row where Charch will say something, and just so happens,
if he's available in your league,
just so happens, 3 roster moves happen every damn time. You know, this is Charch. I need the heads up, man. I need the heads up, is what I'm saying. People are quicker than I am. I'm trying to do a radio show. You give us a scoop, and my friends in leagues and family members in leagues are out here making roster moves while I'm trying to talk to them.
What happened? What move got made?
The one today was Christian Kirk. Last week or yesterday or whatever it was DeMarcado or something. You know, it was like
they're on it, man. They're listening.
Is people on their lunch break? Is that what's going on?
Like, ooh, Christian Kirk. Tell me more.
All right, let's get to
Maybe I need to be looking for Christian Kirk.
Let's get to the random question.
Random question.
Random question of the day brought to you by Kansas City Urology Care at KCUC. Remember, you see the best in KC. Visit kcurology.com today. For you, Gold. For you, Drew. Text line 913-586-7965. And, of course, on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook. We will take your answers over there as well. Live stream the show. Like and subscribe to pop to the top of your feed. Question of the day is not whether or not you'd pay for it, because I don't think your answer would be yes, but instead, would you try this if it was given an option to you? New company just got another round of financing over a company called Throne Science.
Throne Science.
Throne Science.
Okay.
They have developed a product that they're calling the Whoop. You're familiar with that product? They're like,
Mahomes wears it.
But for your poop. It is a device that attaches to your toilet and reads your bathroom habits and gives you recommendation or health updates based on the stuff. Maybe you think your hydration's too low, or your digestion or your gut health are no good. And it calculates this stuff over a strength of time, and then you can have an app and look at what it says about your gut health. So the question I have for you is, if they said, hey, Gold, we're going to let you try this product out for 6 months, you interested?
I mean, for
Would
free,
you check
sure.
an app for what it said about your poop?
I mean, if the company sent me a kit and said, here you go, we'd love for you to try it, yada, yada, sure. I would never
How
buy
often
it,
would
though.
you check that app, though?
Well, that's the weird thing. Is
That's
like,
the
you
problem.
know,
It's like,
I'm
how
hanging out,
often are you checking that?
I'm hanging out on a Saturday watching college football, and then you get a notification that says, you know, you haven't gone to the bathroom in a while. But I say, what are you looking at your phone? Oh, I'm just checking out my poop stats.
Seeing how it looks, you
don't
know?
say that though. Like you don't have to say anything.
Okay, Drew. Yes.
But it's an app on your phone, and someone's gonna, you know, like I'm not saying someone's digging through Alex's phone.
You sound more interested.
No, I wouldn't do. I already know that I'm not drinking enough water. I don't need to be
gotta
told
say,
that.
massive.
I drink a lot of water. I know it's not enough. I actually do. I've become better at it. But
I mean, gut health,
there's other ways to
digestive
tell
health
things,
is very important.
Massive concern of mine is if you get one data breach. Essentially, I'm just putting a camera on this. Are you selling this to some sickos on the internet? Or if there's one data breach, there's
You're not
what?
selling it, but eventually
there's
it's
what?
found, I guess.
Photos? Yeah. Like, I'm
mean,
gonna leak Cody
everybody's-
Kemp's photos of every poop he's taken.
Wait, this thing's taking photos or just scanning it?
It has like a camera because it needs to be able to
It needs to
identify.
observe, yeah.
It needs to observe
color,
your
yeah.
color, consistency, frequency.
Yeah.
It's trying to. I don't know that I want a digital thumbprint.
No, it's in the
of every
toilet, right?
poop I
It's
take.
in the toilet, though.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it just clips to the bowl.
So the camera's not pointed in your bathroom; it's pointed at the bowl.
It's pointed just at the.
Well, then what am I worried about? If someone wants to, if that's something that interests somebody else, they go for it. Okay. I mean, I'm not worried about the camera if it's pointed down at the toilet.
Pointed up, you got a different issue.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole different conversation.
Oh man, I just didn't know. I didn't know if it was.
How much
free.
are they charging for this?
That's a great question.
What's the cost here?
They just got a $4 million investment round.
And it's called what again?
What is the product called? I mean, the only thing I saw was Whoop for your poop is all they were calling it. Throne Science.
Throne Science.
Throne Science.
Shop online. Part of your aging journey. Is this the right site?
Oh, part of your aging journey?
I don't know.
I mean, probably. Here's it. Reserve yours. Let me click that. Let's see what it says about the price. Hold, please. $400.
Oh, forget it.
Plus an annual membership, for the data.
Is that FSA eligible or whatever?
That is just like
the annual membership is
Jeez.
$6 a month or $70 a year. The product itself is $400.
So the Whoop, I don't think it's $400, but the Whoop is like there is a annual fee that goes along with you purchasing the product itself. It is the same concept.
They want to
as
give
the
me
Whoop.
it. Fine. I'm not going to buy it, though.
You would try it.
Yeah.
But you're just saying.
Oh, sure.
I got to say, I pay for a lot of different memberships. That'd be the first one to cut. I'd be like, man, I got to save a few bucks. How am I going to do it? I'm not going to pay you the $70 this year to analyze this.
I mean, look, if they find something's wrong, though, I guess it's worth it, right? Like, you can you can tell a lot from that, about your
How do you train that AI model?
I don't know.
Like, I feel like it's not going to work as well in the beginning until it gets all the photos of everybody's.
I'm kind of with Drew, though, on some of this. I think people know enough now with digestive health. Like, you kind of know when something's wrong, or you kind of know, you know what I mean? Like, it's pretty, like...
something's a little off.
You kind of know when it's not your normal. And you also know, like, obviously, if there is blood, then you need to go get that checked out. You know what I mean? I don't need an app to tell me that, hey, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, right.
Probably fair. I'm just, I'm asking whether or not... Drew sounds like he's out.
Someone says they lease the equipment. Oh, jeez.
I assume the hardware you get to keep. It's just whether or not you want to keep it.
But it's only in one toilet. What if that's not the only toilet you're using,
One, and how do you know it's just you, right?
Man,
you don't want everybody else throwing off your stats. In a house like mine is 4 people, right?
I think that is a very valid question. Because the Whoop at least
I'm
is on
assuming
you all
they've
the
got
time, where you're
something-
not just going to take that device with you and just, if you...
Hey, guys, I'm heading out of town. I'm going to take this camera with me.
If you're on vacation.
Well, the other part of the problem is I don't want to be forced to only use... There are 4 toilets in my house.
That's what I'm saying. What if you use a different toilet? Now, I guess you would put it in your primary toilet. Do you have a primary toilet? Yes, you do.
The one on the main floor is the one that's used the most.
Yeah, whatever one you use the most, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know, man. Feels like a kind of different game. Somebody's like, I can't... And I don't know. I don't know what the process is to... what kind of information you need to put in about your diet or your dietary habits.
You got to clean the camera? Yeah, that's true.
It says it has to recharge.
Splatter. Oh, you got to... Oh, see, this doesn't work. I'm going to have to reach in there with gloves and pull out the camera and wipe it down and charge. I'm going to put that on my countertop to charge it?
That's on the floor. That's a floor charge situation.
No. I'm out. They got to figure out a way for this.
I don't know how long the battery life is, but...
Yeah, I mean, like, if it's a once-a-year thing, fine. But if every week I got to charge this thing up, we're out. This is not...
No way it's once a week, right? I mean, they wouldn't think it through like that, I don't think.
You would think not.
That seems very unlikely that they would plan something that goes in a toilet.
Someone says it signs you in. It says, welcome, Cody. That'd be creepy.
As soon as you
I don't want it to know, like,
hello, Cody.
Like, oh, I know that is.
That would be crazy.
Welcome in. Let's get to work. Like, no. I don't need that in my life. No. Now I'm trying to look at system requirements. See
system requirements.
I think
I'm trying to see how long the battery life is.
I think
30 plus days on a single charge. So you're looking at a month at a time.
month?
Yeah,
I think the concept of it is actually, it's not a bad effort to come up with something like the Whoop, but for that. Like, I like the concept idea, but it just doesn't, I don't think it works. It just doesn't work the same.
This feels like something a professional athlete will absolutely have. The guys who like take everything, every part of their body and their training regimen serious. They're like, even this, I take it all serious. I want to know if my gut health
Someone says it has its own docking station. Again, you're putting that on the counter? No. There's too much splatter happening. It's in, there's no way.
It's in a toilet bowl.
It's going to get, it's going to get splattered.
It's a problem. I'm not denying that part of it. Anyway, that's my random question
Thank you for
today.
that, Cody.
Just wanted you guys to think about a new product available to you.
Yeah.
Thanks to Throne Science. $4 million, man.
Someone says that's a crappy question.
I thought it was a pretty good question. We all had a good time with it.
Well,
Thank you, Drew.
the pun was intended.
Yeah.
With that one. It's a good one.
Yes. I'm glad Drew picked up on that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. No, I get it. I just thought that they were also, I think they meant it. Both the pun and...
Oh, yeah. That pun was definitely... They knew what they were doing.
The pun I knew they meant, but I also think that they,
Someone says, Gold, please stop saying splattered. I'm sorry. Splashed.
It is still inside the lunch window
Someone
for some.
said put one in a Taco Bell restroom.
Oh.
Well, hopefully you're not going there.
I can't imagine if you carried it around. Like you just took it
that
everywhere.
would be
That's
ridiculous.
insane. That'd be insane.
All right, up next, we'll get not only to a Professor Tapp segment where we're not going to learn about health.
Oh, boy.
That's the only promise that he made us today.
It is about health, but not about that kind of health.
Okay. And somebody's in line to be the next manager for an MLB team that I don't think any of us thought would need to manage, but we'll get there next.
This is Wyatt Thompson, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2, right here on your home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Kansas City, it's time to turn up the heat. The Westport Sunfresh is back and better than ever. Now proudly part of the Cosentino Food Stores family. We're celebrating with a re-grand opening you won't want to miss. That means 3 full weeks of hot savings on the freshest produce, premium meats, and all your grocery favorites. Come experience the new and improved Westport Sunfresh, your neighborhood store, now with even more local love. Located in the heart of Westport, only at Cosentino's Westport Sunfresh.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
Hi there, I'm Charlie.
And I'm Carter. Our dad is Rex with Rex Buys KC.
If you're thinking about selling a home in Kansas City and don't know where to start, our dad can help.
Sometimes life throws curveballs, like moving for a new job, dealing with a divorce, or inheriting a house you weren't expecting.
Dad doesn't just make offers, he talks with people to help them understand all of their options. No pressure, and it doesn't cost anything to talk with his team.
He's a local home buyer who really knows Kansas City. If selling to him is the right choice, he'll give you a fair cash offer, and you can close on your timeline even in as little as 7 days.
He buys homes in any condition. No need for repairs, no fees, no surprises.
Just an honest, easy process so you feel good about your decision.
Want to talk to him? Call 816-330-6000 or go to rexbuyskc.com.
Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
Every NFL Thursday is your chance to hit the jackpot on FanDuel because FanDuel's Thursday touchdown jackpot means that you can win a share of $2 million in bonus bets each and every week. To get in on this Thursday's action, all you have to do is place an anytime touchdown score bet before the game kicks off. And if your player scores either the first or the last touchdown in the game, then you'll win your bet plus a share of bonus bets. All you need to do is visit FanDuel.com. Use my promo code KFNZ to take a shot at the jackpot. Remember my promo code KFNZ for your chance to win a share of $2 million in bonus bets. Play your game with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt in. Must apply profit boost hosting on select market. Prize pool to be split equally among all eligible participants who made the correct first or last touchdown pick. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 21 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino LLC. Gambling problem? Can help with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Hey, Mr. C, it's me. Well, I just picked up the ring. I actually went to Hellsberg. Thanks for that recommendation. Kate's gonna love that hers is from the same jeweler you got Mrs. C's ring from. They were so helpful throughout the whole process. They even knew your family by name, and the ring looks great. Anyways, I just couldn't wait to let you guys know. Call me back and wish me luck.
Hellsberg, designed with care and craft since 1915. Shop in store or at hellsberg.com.
DQ presents the sound of your next meal at DQ. It's the sound of savoring a signature stack burger, loving a chicken strip basket, or digging into everyday value with the $7 meal deal. Wait, where is the sound? Am I missing something? Oh, it's quiet because they're too busy enjoying their DQ food. Makes sense. So delicious and so peaceful. Grab your favorite from the DQ food menu today at participating U.S. locations. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Your favorite neighborhood spots run unsquare. You know the ones. Maybe it's the popular shop that just opened a new location by you, or the big sports bar that's always packed on game day. These places make the neighborhood, and the money spent there stays in your community. Square powers more than 4 million neighborhood businesses worldwide. To learn more, go to square.com, or just stop by your favorite local business. See you in the neighborhood. Square. For more than half a century, contractors and trade professionals have relied on WeatherGuard for heavy-duty truck and van storage equipment, not just to protect their tools, but to protect their professional reputations. Whether it's inside or outside of work vehicles, a WeatherGuard badge means pros can trust that their hard-earned name is in good hands. Since 1968 and every day since, WeatherGuard has been protecting anything it takes to build a professional reputation. WeatherGuard, established in 1968, proven every day. WeatherGuard.com.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Listen to the Chiefs and Jaguars on Monday night with pregame starting at 4. Kickoff at 7:15 with Mitch, Danan, and Kling. Right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City. An Odyssey sports station.
1 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Coming up at 1:30, if you missed our conversation with Danan Hughes, you'll hear his thoughts on Xavier Worthy and also what's going on in Jacksonville. We also did ask him about just the city. There's been some real trash talk towards the actual city of Jacksonville this week. And you know what?
A lot of negativity.
I don't get it. I don't get it, you know? I don't get it whatsoever.
You think from the outside it looks like a perfectly fine city.
It's got a beach. That automatically raises the bar over quite a few of these NFL cities. That's all. So we'll play that back for you a little bit in just a bit. We're also about 8 minutes away from Professor Tapp, who brought his materials this week. That's why we didn't have a segment last week.
So last week I had some props that were related, unfortunately, to the week. But this week I have my material presented.
Props.
I don't have props this week. I just have material to present to you. It is health related.
Oh boy.
There's not a quiz today, but there will be some questions before to see what your knowledge base is and how deep we can go, you know?
Okay. We'll get to that in just a little bit. Elsewhere in baseball, not only do we have wild card action today, 3 game 3s, winner, go home. Awesome stuff later on, starting in an hour from now with the Guardians and the Tigers, but there's some managerial news happening. At least one report suggests that Albert Pujols could be returning to the Angels dugout. Remember, he played there in the final year or whatever. But as their manager, he's the favorite. He's the lead candidate to be the next manager of the Angels. We looked it up. He's made over $360 million as a player. So he's not doing it for the money, that's for sure.
He's got plenty of money. He's probably still being paid by the Angels.
I'm not sure. Does he just miss? Maybe that's the way they can work this whole thing out. You think he just misses it? Is that what this is? I think he absolutely can connect with players. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
Lots of former players end up as managers.
Tons. The Royals manager, Matt Quatrero, is a former player.
Not typically former players who are Hall of Famers.
Right.
Like typically guys of that ilk. This is always the issue I always felt like when like Michael Jordan was a GM. How does Albert Pujols sit in a club and just do what I do? Just hit 700 home runs, just hit 600 home runs and have 100 RBI seasons 10 years in a row and make $500 million. What's the problem here? The only issue I always have with stuff like this is, one, I'm surprised the Angels want to make him part of the face of their franchise again, knowing that if they could go back in time, I imagine they never give him the contract that they gave him. And the Cardinals were wise to move on from Albert Pujols. He was not a laughingstock in his time he was there in the Angels. They didn't accomplish anything, and they overpaid him for the level of production they got. And I guess the question is, like, I just don't understand why, if I had made that amount of money and was that great of a baseball player, I'm not trying to do the 162-day grind again on a plane every couple of days, flying back and forth. What's his net worth? I mean, and again, it's not about the money. He obviously doesn't need it. And a lot of times these guys talk about it like it's they want to give back to baseball the way it did for them, right? And I do understand that part. I just wonder whether or not it'll work. Again, former players work all the time. Will this work? Remember, Stephen Vogt, had been out of baseball for a year, Gold, and then became the manager of the Guardians, a team who's only one win away from advancing to the next round of the playoffs, and has been pretty good a huge chunk of the time that he has been in Major League Baseball, or, he won Manager of the Year the first year. Now is his team back in the playoffs. So, there's just part of me that wonders why. They did finish paying Albert Pujols for what it's worth in 2022. So they paid him in 3 years. His career earnings were $341 million between three teams.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It seems like a weird fit to me. It would be like Bobby Witt Jr. coming back after he retired to manage, like an all-time great. George Brett became the hitting coach for the Royals for a brief period of time, at a time in which they were really struggling. Could you imagine if he was just the everyday manager? Now, it would have been pretty close after he stopped playing baseball. Albert Pujols was playing baseball just,
some of those guys, I would assume every manager is a former player. Vaccarello never played in baseball or big leagues, but he played
Madden
college.
Never played.
Yeah,
well, former player being relative.
Hughes played at Old Dominion, didn't make it in the majors. Obviously, coached. Yeah, who is Bill Belichick's the one on the NFL side. It was like, no, he didn't play in the NFL. He didn't play at a high level.
No, he didn't play ever.
Yeah.
I mean, he might have played
high school
Pee-wee or high school, but yeah. He didn't play in college.
Yeah, when someone says someone's a former, usually you're talking college or pros. I mean, nobody's counting somebody who was a high school baseball player as, oh yeah, he's a former player and now he's a manager. Everybody's talking. You're talking college or hey, they played in the league. Typically, baseball, I guess I'll give you minor leagues as well if you want to include that.
Yeah, if you got to at least that level or a high enough level, because it's hard to get to a minor league level.
I think Pujols though is a really intriguing hire, man. Like I think he can relate.
It's outside the box.
I think he can relate to players. Obviously, bring some excitement. There's some of that too around the organization. I'd be intrigued by it. Now, you always wonder the legacy aspect. If it goes really south, it's tough to. Now, he's not coaching. He's not managing the Cardinals, so you're not really worrying about like how you view him in St. Louis,
which is where he'll still be king, right?
Exactly. I don't know if you would want to be the manager of the Cardinals if you were Pujols, because then you're starting to mix the feelings of your legacy or how people feel about you. Whereas the Angels, it's not the organization that you are a Hall of Famer for, if that makes sense.
I was looking at the top 5 managers who never played in the majors, as they put it, as far as overall record. Some of these are some old names, so we probably don't need to mention them, like Earl Weaver, but Jim Leland, Joe Madden, right? I mean, these are guys, Buck Showalter, like these guys, some of them played as in like maybe they played, like you said, in the minors. Some of them might have been in someone's system. But some of these guys just like baseball and like being around baseball, and that happens sometimes.
Yeah, his whole life was baseball. Then now it's like, what am I supposed to do? And then you
I don't
get
know,
an
be
opportunity.
rich, go on vacation. Like, I
but
get
these
it.
guys,
I know.
I get it.
But it's like the daily grind. I feel like you could do what George Brett does. You show up to spring training for a week and you talk about hitting with a couple of guys.
Age,
you pop in, you do that.
I think at a certain age, but like Albert Pujols is 45 years old, right? So that's the difference. If I'm 55 or 60 and you got to play with money, then it's like, I don't want to do the daily grind. But if you're 45, like Albert Pujols is, he's probably like, I can manage, see how this goes, see if I like it.
I mean, look, if someone will give you a big league manager job and that's a job that you're interested in doing, then take it. Because it's not like the Angels. The Angels haven't been relevant since they were competing for World Series in the early 2000s. Well, yeah, I guess. But like even then, consistency, it was probably even further back than that. I still think they have terrible ownership. And it's a pretty good sign that even though they overpaid you, they're willing to bring you back. Because like if I were an owner and I paid somebody and I'd be like, I think my money's worth out of that. I don't think I'd be real tempted to make him a manager. But he is and like this has a local interest, obviously. He played high school baseball locally. He, so like people are interested in what he does with his career. Do you think it'll work? Because that's the part. I mean, that's the part we'll just never know. But that's more the Angels than him.
I mean, odds would say no because if you look at how often teams churn over managers and also that Angels organization, to what you were just saying, how long it's been since they've been really relevant, the odds are stacked against him. But also sometimes it's all fit in the right spot. I mean, there's some managers that can win wherever. Like A.J. Hinch obviously won in Houston. I understand the cheating scandal, but he's been winning in Detroit as well. He's just a pretty darn good manager, even with the cheating allegations from his time in Houston. He clearly can manage.
Yeah. If A.J. Hinch were available to, if Q decided to hang it up, I don't want to, but if Q was like, I don't want to manage anymore, okay. And A.J. Hinch's like, I'll take your job. I'd take him in a second. He'd probably be Gold, one of the 5 to 7 managers I'd take first. So I'm not, again, the former player part of it doesn't bother me. But typically, and this is just the way it works in major leagues, it doesn't mean it has to work that way. Former player who caught. That's like 50% of baseball managers.
Yeah, most of them are catchers.
You're a former player and you caught. I don't know why that's the way it's worked out. Maybe it's because you have to see every side of baseball.
Understanding of the game.
Yeah, you understand the pitching, you understand the hitting, you understand the defense. You have to see it. You have to understand the strategy and when people are running and not running and pinch hitting and not pinch hitting. You see it all. But for whatever reason, it tends to be those guys and not the former sluggers who are one of the top 5, hitters of top 10 hitters of all time, or whatever Albert Pujols ranks.
Someone says, do your research. He played for the Dodgers. Yeah, he also played for the Angels a bulk of his career as well. He finished his career in St. Louis in 2022, but he played he got the big contract in LA with the Angels.
Yeah.
The Dodgers was after the fact.
That was a side note towards the end. I said 3 teams earlier. Those are the 3. Cardinals, Angels, and then eventually, the Dodgers. And now he's going to be, according to reports, good chance, lead candidate to be the head coach in Los Angeles. Surprising, but at the same time, I guess we'll see what comes of it. Shall we learn?
Welcome to the classroom. Whether it's cooking lessons, singing lessons, or how to commit a heist, this guy wants to teach you what he knows. Well, what he thinks he knows. It's not Cody to you. It's Professor Tap.
That's right. Time to learn, kids. You don't like it when I say kids in this segment, I don't think.
I know I don't.
I don't. I like saying it. Right
in
at the
fairness
beginning.
to you, Nate says kids as well.
Yeah, he does. And he says kids and ladies and gents. He's a fan of those phrases. So maybe that's where I'm getting it from. I did research for today's segment. So if I could get a little, give me a little something. Yeah, there we go.
I
so
gotcha.
I was considering a lot of different potential options for learning this week, but I was trying to work on something in my own personal life, and I thought I could help others with this exact same thing. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions first. That's how the lesson will go, so we know where your knowledge base is, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of facts and figures on where we're at. Do you know how many sleep cycles you have when you go to bed?
How many different types there are, or how many we individually have?
Everybody is considered to have a certain number of sleep cycles. Do you know how many there are?
I have no idea. 4.
4. I was going to say. I think
3 is the answer I was looking for. But that's okay. Close enough. It's light sleep, deep sleep, REM sleep, and then those repeat. Do you know how often those sleep cycles occur?
REM, not as much. I don't know.
I think deep is rarely. I don't know. There's a single stretch normally in a sleep cycle.
So here's the thing. This is what I was learning. I have not been sleeping as well. I'm like, this is a problem. I got to get some better sleep. I'm waking up feeling tired. It's no good. Got to do something about it. So I was doing a bunch of research this week on how to improve it. Sleep cycles happen in 90-minute intervals.
Okay.
And there was a long-term study done overseas that suggests what we actually should be doing is not changing the amount we're sleeping, but when we wake up. If you wake up, Gold, every time you wake up, you set your alarm for 6:30 and you're like, I feel like ass. It could simply be that these sleep cycles hit in
there's
30...
there's apps for this. It'll wake you up at a certain time. Professor.
But you should be changing your time based on how you feel. Instead of 6:30, you should be waking up at 6:15 or 6:45. You should change your intervals by 15 or 30 minutes, and you might find that even though you got no extra sleep, that you were instead more refreshed.
That's why sometimes when you wake up at 5:30 accidentally, you actually feel better than when you set the alarm again and you wake back up at 7:30, you feel worse.
You're saying you already just knew this lesson, huh?
Yes.
So why haven't you adjusted in your own life? Or do you just sleep great all the time?
I'm just telling you, but also there's apps.
Which app are you using for
there's
that?
some apps that will wake you up.
There's also
at a certain time they detect your sleep pattern, it'll wake you up.
Ironically enough, you mentioned the Whoop earlier.
This study
it
said that
tracks
alarm
your
clock
sleep, and it actually gives
so
you...
does the Apple Watch. I mean...
Do you look at those statistics? I'm just curious.
So I wonder.
This study said that the alarm clock can feel like a psychological ambush in the morning, is how they described it. Is that how you guys feel when you wake up?
Wow.
Obviously, there's some mornings where you feel more refreshed than others, no doubt. My
Professor
dog wakes
Tapp,
me
I
up
have
at
a question.
5:30. Sometimes I feel wide awake and ready to go right then.
Professor Tapp, I have a question.
Yes.
Does this change?
He raised his hand. I appreciate that.
Does this change? Could you also change when you go to sleep compared to when you wake up, or is this assuming you go to bed at the same time relatively?
Great question. The way I was saying about setting the alarm is based on the idea that you would go to bed at a generalized normal time.
Okay.
But it also suggests you track it based on just the number of hours. So 5.5 might be a better spot for you, or 6 or 6.5, 6:15. I would say it's more about, in the long run, the total amount of time. But when you're first doing it to find the sweet spot, you kind of got to go to bed at a similar time. Otherwise, it doesn't quite work the same way. These things hit in cycles, so you got to make sure that
to
you're
at least figure
squared
out.
away.
You almost have to like test
Yeah,
it.
question, Alex?
So what is the study of sleep called, Professor?
Oh, I didn't have that. I should have pulled that back up. I'm sorry. It
Thanks.
was an overseas study. I didn't keep the note on the act. I just wrote down the
I
notes.
thought
from
you
the
were
study.
teaching us the whole lesson today.
What? You got to know the study? You can't just take me at my word?
No. The study of sleep. What's that called?
Oh, the study of. I'm sorry. I don't know. God, what is it?
I don't know. I'm asking.
Oh, what is the study of sleep? Any of you guys have any nightmares? Should we look up things about nightmares?
We've talked
as well?
about this. No. But I definitely have had times where you wake up at 5 or 6 and you feel somnology.
If I have dreams, they're often the same dreams, like not over and over and over again, but
Like
I'll have a dream that I remember having previously. I don't know how long. It could be a year, it could be 2 years, but it's a similar type of.
Could you explain one of the
dream.
dreams, please, so we can break that down for the
All
class?
right. So one of them.
Joe Burrow playing a full football season.
No, I've never dreamed about sports ever in my life.
Never seen him move so
Never.
smooth. Okay.
There is out in my neighborhood. All I know is I look over to the right, and it's the road that I grew up on, basically, 79th Street. And instead of it being nice grass pastures, a lot of homes around, it is nothing but like a desert, and there's tornadoes everywhere.
Bad news, Drew. Most sleepologists, people of somnology, say that most recurring dreams relate to people's unresolved stress, anxiety, or trauma.
Woo.
So, time to unpack some of that.
I think.
Why are you afraid that your house is being demolished by a tornado and being ripped away from you?
It's not my house. I'm not by my house. I'm just on the road that I grew up on, and it's that way.
Someone says, what if Drew gets woken up by his neighbors upstairs? Should he adjust his alarm clock to wake up early or later than his normal time? What would you say?
I normally sleep. I don't think I would ever get. I don't get waken up by things very often. I'm a very deep
He
sleeper.
stays in a
yes.
deep level of sleep. He says.
I can go to bed in a matter of like 5 minutes. When I actually lay down and try to go to sleep, I'm out within 5 minutes, and I don't wake up until.
I don't sleep that well at all. You guys sleeping great? Just every night? Just out? You wake up when it's the
Traditionally,
morning?
I woke up this morning.
way.
This morning I was very tired for whatever reason when I woke up. But in
Off your
general,
cycle?
I don't know.
Did you go
Yeah.
to bed? What time did you go to bed last night?
Well, I was watching playoff baseball, watching the Dodgers game.
That's
I don't
pretty
know,
late.
11:15, 11:30. I don't know.
So he might have been off his cycle then, Cody, is what
Someone
you're
said,
saying.
do you guys
Potentially.
ever have the dream where you're in college, realize you haven't showed up to class all semester? Oh, absolutely. I've had that dream before. You realize you're not in college anymore, but
I wake up and I'm like, crap, let me check my phone.
That's not a normal.
What time is
that's
it?
not normal.
That's happened in my
cycle
life.
dreams.
Probably, I've had that dream 3 or 4 times in my life. Probably, yes. Where you think you forgot something, like that there was a test that day in class or something.
I think
like
there's a
that.
theme of tornadoes in my dreams because there's another one, Cody.
Tornado?
Did a tornado wreck your house when you were a kid? Or something?
No. There's another one where my sister and my mom and I, only people in the dream, we are driving in my mom's minivan that she had when we grew up, and we were driving away from tornadoes. Like we stopped at like this.
It's always tornadoes.
We stopped at like this gas station, had some food or whatever, walked out, and there was a big tornado. It was
More than
it was
anything,
coming our way.
This
and
lesson is teaching us something about Drew.
I'm dealing with a lot
Think
of
about
unreleased,
severe weather a lot?
No.
Are you stressed out about the thought of a tornado near your house or apartment?
I don't think so. I used to be afraid of lightning, I guess, when I was a little kid, but I'm not anymore.
Yeah.
But I think you're right, Cody, in the fact that my wife has also said this. Like, you're dealing with unreleased trauma. It might not even be related to what the dream is, but you're dealing with something that is affecting how
Someone
you
says
dream, I guess.
unresolved trauma, stress, or anxiety.
That makes a lot of
Drew.
sense. I have struggled with anxiety, so yeah.
Someone says studies have shown that what you eat and do before you go to bed as well affects your sleep the most. I'm sure there's tons of studies. Someone did text and said, "Hey, my name's Jason. I've sold mattresses for over 24 years.
Wow, that's a
also
long
a
time.
department head of a local furniture store in Kansas City. I love this conversation. Technically, there are 4 stages of sleep.
Oh, they
Professor.
changed it?
Yeah, Professor. REM and non-REM are separated out now.
Oh, so golden hour REM.
They separated. I apologize. Hey, you know what? I'm not the kind of professor who can't take notes.
Hey, I'm going to be honest, because my mattress sucks. I need to get in touch with this person. If there's a suggestion based on...
What kind of mattress do you have?
How old is it?
It's not old enough to get... Because I think you're supposed to replace it every, 8 to 10 years? I think?
Yeah, I think something like that.
It is not. It's not that old. It's
But
like
what,
5
is it,
or 6.
I don't know.
Memory foam.
Yeah, there you go.
It's
Thank
not.
you.
Is it a spring mattress?
No,
Is it?
it's not spring, but it's also not memory foam. It's like one that you get
Plush? Or whatever they call it.
Sure, whatever. But I think
That wasn't
it's,
on today's lesson plan. I didn't have
Type of mattresses.
I didn't have that plan. Inner spring, foam, polyfoam, latex hybrid,
mine's
airbag.
mine's memory.
regular
I have a
foam.
memory foam one, and it's probably about 6 years old at this point now. At least.
Ours is not memory foam. I wonder if that does how the type of mattress would affect your if you're.
I imagine your mattress
obviously
level.
how you
quality
sleep,
of
but in terms of what you're talking about, Cody, I wonder if how
Someone
much that
says
actually plays into
hybrid. He gave you a phone number as well. Hybrid, the fastest growing segment of beds right now.
Wow.
I don't have a waterbed now. Parents had a waterbed.
We've talked
growing
about
up.
the waterbed before, which is unbelievable.
That'd be a
Drew,
wild bed
Drew with the
choice in
waterbed and silk sheets.
I do have.
He stands by
some
silk sheets.
I know, it's amazing.
He stands by those. That's firm on his list. That's today's lesson.
Thank you, Professor.
You're welcome.
Silk
Let us know what other
sheets.
things you want to learn about. I'm happy to.
Do you already have
more
Do you already have a plan for next week?
I have several things written down as possible professor
all
segments
right.
going forward.
I thought this one was useful.
I'm not forced
I liked
into
it.
one lesson plan. I mean, I'm
There you go.
open to other stuff. My students today in real class are coming to the radio station to tour.
Oh, when's that happening?
After the show, it'll be more at the time you're gone.
Okay.
I don't need you interrupting the class.
Interrupting? Interrupting?
I don't
Don't
need
show
you.
back up at 4:30 when
need
Cody's
you.
giving them a tour.
I don't need you interrupting the class. I need them focused
Are you?
and learning about a life in radio.
I'm curious. Are you gonna have them meet Carrington?
Typically, if some people are in the studio,
Why did you say it like that?
Wait, me or him?
Both of you.
No, I asked if you were gonna have him meet Carrington. I didn't.
Typically, I'll have them come in the studio and ask a couple of questions of Carrington or
I gotcha.
Danan Parks
I gotcha.
or Rob or whoever, right? You know, give them a chance to talk to some media professionals. Talk them into why they should run away, far away from radio stations. Don't do this. Don't bring your life to this.
There have been people in
I just
radio
did
who
10
told
minutes
me
on. I just did 10
about
minutes on
mattresses
sleep. Don't
and
do this
sleep.
to yourself.
There was one time I during my internship, the guy who I was interning for, it was before his show or whatever. He was like, "Do you really want to do this?" Like, it was a very genuine question.
How about this? Chester on the radio. You guys remember Chester? He said, heard you talking about dreams and dream interpretation. 26 years experience doing psychotherapy and dabble every once in a while in dream interpretation. The science behind dream interpretation is very weak. There's not much diagnostic benefit to it, but it's fun to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean,
They're saying don't read too much into the dreams of Drew.
Well, yeah,
I don't know. The fact that he keeps dreaming about tornadoes.
It's just interesting that it's tornadoes. Did you watch Twister a bunch as a kid?
I've never seen Twister, either one.
Maybe you need to watch that movie and see if they go away.
I haven't had
Immersion
that dream in a
therapy. Just
very
get him,
long time.
you know.
It's just that one is one that I've had multiple times. I will say it would be interesting if in 2057, if that is the way that the hometown road looks like. That'd be a little bit interesting, wouldn't it?
We'll see.
Someone says they're also dropping out of Cody's class.
You're dropping out?
For that lesson.
Really?
Wow. Jeez.
I think I was
That
encouraged
lesson
to stay
was
in
better
it.
than the first two.
I was encouraged to stay in
The
it.
K-pop one was the 1st
You've
lesson.
seen a lot of stuff about K-pop.
Each lesson's getting slow.
It's a process.
A little better.
We're early in the semester for Professor Tab.
Now, the problem is we've talked so much about sleep and mattresses. Now, every ad on Instagram and Facebook now that I'm going to have the rest of the week is going to be about mattresses, and it'll be
Yeah,
about
there you
sleep
go.
apps and all this kind of stuff.
There you go.
And the one about the
gut health.
The gut health one.
You're going to get...
I'm telling you. A lot of you listening, same thing's going to happen to you now. Your ads on these apps are now going to be about that kind of stuff.
Your phone's been listening to you.
Well, that's the thing, too. And the game tonight's on Amazon Prime and your phone. If you have Prime on your phone, now all of a sudden you're going to get a commercial for the Whoop for your whatever it was. Is that
whoop for your poop?
Yeah.
That was a different thing. 2 science lessons today. It was one of my stronger subjects in school.
Up next, let's get to what's trending. Danan Hughes joined us earlier. We talked about the trip to Jacksonville, what he saw from Worthy, and the key to the running game. Part of Worthy's, development this season could end up helping the running game. We asked him about that. And does he buy into what we're seeing from Jacksonville? That's up next.
You're listening to Cody and Gold. Tune in for the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day, starting at 11:30 right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Celebrate National Dessert Month at Twin Peaks. Indulge in our Cinnamon Toast Crunch cheesecake with RumChata sauce or the Twin Peaks Sundae, vanilla ice cream, and a warm Ghirardelli brownie. Top it off with Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey for the ultimate game day treat.
This fall, refresh your home with a special offer from Westlake Ace Hardware. Enjoy $10 off bin interior paint gallons, October 1st through 31st. With an easy-to-apply, easy-to-maintain formula, Bin Interior offers an introduction into the beauty and durability of Benjamin Moore premium paint. Hurry into Westlake Ace Hardware for this limited-time savings and keep your spaces looking beautiful for years to come. Offer valid in-store only, so visit Westlake Ace Hardware today. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Football season's in full swing, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all of the action. And you can select entries and win money right now, today, in the state of Missouri. And playing on Underdog is easy. Just choose whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like rushing yards, receptions, touchdowns, and more. Get all your entries right, and you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. I love combining selections from multiple games into one entry. That's how I play on the Underdog app. So download the Underdog app today and sign up with promo code BOB to score $100 in bonus funds or entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code BOB. Underdog. Make plays, win money. Must be 18 and over and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help this patient.
Hi, this is Doug. I'm a patient with Heartland Men's Health. I've been doing low T treatment for just under a year now. I've always dedicated my life to work. I've always found the time to go to gym. I'm 46 years old. My energy level has been on a roller coaster. With work, when we would have like long, stressful meetings, I would notice that I was very exhausted and drained afterwards. And with the low T treatment, I'm not as stressed. I started to feel a lot more level-headed. The roller coaster kind of went away. I think Heartland Men's Health, they really have it figured out. The professional staff, I think it's a wonderful treatment for men of any age. And it's definitely a benefit I'm going to continue.
Thank you. It's true. Your initial appointment includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hey, Zach, are you smiling at my gorgeous canyon view?
No, Donald. I'm smiling because I've got something I want to tell the whole world.
Well, do it. Shout it out.
T-Mobile's got home internet.
Whoa, I love that echo. T-Mobile's got home internet.
How much is it?
Look at that, Zach. We got the neighbor's attention.
Just $35 a month. And you love a great deal, Denise.
Plus, they've got a 5-year price guarantee. That's 5 whole trips around the sun.
I'm switching. Me too.
Yes, T-Mobile home internet for the neighborhood.
Donald, you still haven't returned my weed whacker.
Carl, don't you embarrass me like this, please.
What's everyone yelling about?
T-Mobile's got home internet.
And Donald's got my weed whacker.
Yes, T-Mobile's got home internet. Just $35 a month with auto pay and any voice line. And it's guaranteed for 5 years.
Beautiful yodeling, Carl.
Taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com/ISP for details and exclusions.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like how I'm more than just Peyton Manning. I'm also motivating Manning. When I say insurance, you say financial services. Insurance.
Financial services.
Insurance.
Financial services.
Now when I say nationwide, you say is both. Nationwide.
Is both.
Nationwide.
Is both.
For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Investment Services Corporation, member FINRA, Columbus, Ohio.
Your favorite neighborhood spots run unsquare. You know the ones. Maybe it's the popular shop that just opened a new location by you, or the big sports bar that's always packed on game day. These places make the neighborhood, and the money spent there stays in your community. Square powers more than 4 million neighborhood businesses worldwide. To learn more, go to square.com, or just stop by your favorite local business. See you in the neighborhood. Square.
You need parts? O'Reilly has parts. Get one free set of brake pads when you buy 2 brake rotors. Upgrade to Brake Best Select pads for just $10. Or upgrade to Brake Best Select Pro or Import Direct pads for just $20. Product availability. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming to Missouri. On December 1st, you'll finally be able to bet on all your favorite teams and all your favorite sports. With FanDuel, there's a ton of ways for you to get in on the action. You can bet everything from the money line to over-unders to which team will win it all. You'll be able to build parlays, bet player props, or even ride the live line. Whatever your style, FanDuel has you covered. Plus, with live betting, you can pick which player will score the next touchdown or the touchdown after that. However you play your game, FanDuel's got your back. On December 1st, you'll be able to see for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, there's a ton of ways for you to get in on the action. FanDuel, play your game. FanDuel Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. What's trending?
Number 1 on What's Trending, MLB postseason continues today. We know the Dodgers are already into the next round. They're setting up for a division series matchup, I should say, against the Philadelphia Phillies after they took care of the Reds. Today, 3 winner-go-home series clinching contests starting in about, 40 minutes or so. Tigers and Guardians evened up, obviously. Padres, Cubs, 4:09. And at 7:09 tonight, the Red Sox and the Yankees. So going to be a fun afternoon and evening of baseball. Keeping an eye on what happens in each one of those. I think you and I both are betting on the Tigers to beat the Guardians today.
That's correct. Next up on What's Trending, Thursday Night Football tonight, 49ers and Rams will be in action. The 49ers are missing, it'd probably be quicker to tell you who's playing than it is who's not. No Brock Purdy, no Juwan Jennings. They've got, and obviously Kittle and others are still out. They're going to be relying on Mac Jones and Christian McCaffrey. They're a 7.5-point underdog as it sits, or 8.5-point underdog as it sits right now against the Rams, who are playing really good football. Puka Nacua is on pace, Gold, for 2,100 receiving yards after 4 games. He has over 500 receiving yards this season in just 4 games. He has been phenomenal. We'll see if the Rams can continue their offensive ways.
According to Yahoo Sports, executives are inching closer to an agreement to expand the NCAA tournament to 76 teams with a 12-game opening round played at 2 sites starting next year. Not this upcoming March, 27, basically.
Have they said what the second site will be? It's always been Dayton. Could it be Kansas City?
Not sure. That's a conversation to be had.
Great city for opening
I know
games.
tomorrow we're going to talk a little more about it on the show. You know my feelings about the expansion of it. I understand why they want to do it. I just don't like it because it's just going to mean more of the 12th best team in the Power 5 or Power 4, not more of the Cinderellas. I will watch the opening round. I get it, but
they're not going to lose you because of it. But I understand that your resistance against it. Next up on What's Trending, the Jacksonville Jaguars' Trayvon Walker had wrist surgery, although his head coach, Liam Cohen, said he still could play against Kansas City Monday night. We'll see what comes of that. Obviously, there was rumors that that's why he was out of practice earlier. He's going to be listed day to day, according to them. During the second quarter against San Francisco, he walked to the sideline holding his wrist. You might have seen the video of it. Did not return to the game, so we'll see whether or not he can play. Number 1 overall pick, obviously, 3 years ago. He's got a couple of sacks. He's a very good defensive lineman. He's part of a very good defensive line. We'll see if Trayvon Walker is able to go on Monday. Had wrist surgery, and he might play on Monday.
It must have been, I mean, no surgery is minor, but must have been, quote unquote, minor, right? Everybody, minor surgery. It's still surgery.
I mean, if you can play the same week, it's not the worst surgery you get.
That is what's trending here on Cody and Gold. Earlier today, former Chiefs wide receiver, color analyst for the Chiefs radio network, Danan Hughes, joined us. We started our conversation asking him, was he surprised just how much work Xavier Worthy got in his first game back?
Well, guys, I definitely thought that what we saw from Xavier Worthy was the asset that we were expecting. It was what I was expecting. It was probably in line with holding him out that extra week, because I don't think you want somebody with that ability, with that level of ability that can impact a game, impact a defense and a game plan, to go out there and be 70% when if you give him another week off, he can be 85, 90% and be able to produce like he did in the run game and in the receiving game. So, yeah, I think at this point we have to know Andy Reid well enough, know his staff well enough that he's like never going to put a guy in a position not to be successful. Like whether it's Patrick Mahomes and his injuries that he's had in the past, whether it's Xavier Worthy, what we've seen from other guys, Isaiah Pacheco last year, Hollywood Brown last year, like he has the ability to kind of know the pulse of his team, know the pulse of his players, to the point that if we have to hold him out longer than shorter, they're going to be better for it, and the team is going to be better for it. And it also just shows you what the impact of having Worthy and that speed is on the field. I'm going to be breaking down plays on KSHB, my Danan's data and Big Play Danan for this coming week. And one of those, the comments that I'll be making is going to be regarding how defenses not only have to defend the stretch amount of the field. So when you're talking about 40 yards and in down the field as far as his abilities, but now you have to stretch it to 52 yards wide because of his speed and our ability to get him the ball in jet sweeps and shovel passes, reverses, etc. So like his presence is dangerous for opposing defenses, and it helps everybody else. Look at Travis Kelce. He got 5 catches, and it wasn't as populated a defense surrounding Travis throughout this game, and you expect everybody else to kind of amp up their production as well.
How much does it change even the short yardage? You mentioned stretching the field and how defenses have to cover a full football field, but will this make things easier on a Kareem Hunt, a Pacheco on a 3rd and 1, because you really now have to account for everything?
Absolutely. I mean, and wait until week 7 when Rashee Rice comes back, and all the creativity that I'm sure Andy Reid and Matt Nagy spent much of the offseason formulating, and how they're going to be able to complement each guy and use each guy to help the other guy. And then before you know it, the run game that is getting 3, 4, 5 yards a clip, we're going to see holes open up where Isaiah Pacheco, Brashard Smith probably at that point, and definitely Kareem Hunt, we're going to be skirting through for 1st and 10, and next thing you know, it's 12-yard gain, 1st and 10 again, and that's when this offense is really going to be clicking. So we're just seeing a glimpse of what the capabilities and possibilities will be for this offense, and I'm glad we saw it in a win. People are kind of detracting from that win based on the Ravens and their injuries. Mm-hmm. That's the nature of the beast. We won a game we were supposed to win at home. That's a recipe for success.
And I kind of view it, there was a ESPN analyst who was talking a little bit about that, Dane, and they were simply asked the question, like, do you view them more as the team, like, do you value the 0-2 start more than the 2-0 start? And their argument was, well, the 2 losses were worse. They were against the Chargers in Philadelphia. Those are teams that they respect, versus the Giants in Baltimore, and Baltimore in the shape they were in. how do you parse that out when you start figuring out what's coming next for the Chiefs, in the sense that do you care what happened in those first 2 games? Do you value the things that went wrong there, or do you think that it was just they weren't right yet and they're right now?
I do not envy. I think I said this to you guys a few weeks ago. I do not envy the talking heads on national media at all. To have to make up scenarios and to come up with situations to be able to negate the abilities of Patrick Mahomes and this Chiefs team is just mind-boggling to me. Losing to 2 teams that one is still undefeated, the other one is still atop of the AFC West, and losing to each of them by 1 score, 6 points and 3 points, and then coming back and beating 2 teams that you probably should have beat, and you beat them by multiple scores, and we're still focusing on those first 2 games. Like, I feel like we've gotten to a point, whether it's, the Chiefs being overcooked because of the successes and people trying to find whatever little thing that they can find to throw jabs at and throw darts at, that we're creating situations. We said in week 1, it's just week 1. We said in week 2, there's still 15 games left. And then all of a sudden we reel off 2 wins and we're back to 500. And we're back 0-0 basically. And now we're going to detract and say, well, the wins were not as impressive as the losses to 2 teams. Now, would that scenario carry any weight if the Chargers went on and lost their next 3 games and were 1-3? Maybe the argument could be made then. If the Eagles were not undefeated, maybe so. But those 2 teams have shown that they were going to be good teams. Everybody knew they were going to be good teams coming in, and they've done it. And we've won against the teams we've won since then. Like, it's so nonsensical, but I get it. I would say, to answer your question, these last 2 wins were much more important, much more telling than the first 2 losses.
I also think it's like a weird time to make that argument, knowing that if you had sleptwalk against the Giants, they just beat the Chargers. So,
yeah,
it's definitely a team you could have lost to. And I guess to that point, I think sometimes we lose it, Danan, in this. Like with Patrick Mahomes, he's so great. We forget that, confidence matters for him too. Like the game, the last game was a really good reminder for me, is when he is comfortable and confident in what he's doing, how much better even he can look.
Yeah, and if you look at the landscape of how those games unfolded, a drop pass by Travis Kelce, turnover against the Chargers, being in certain circumstances and then still figuring out a way to almost have an opportunity to win. We know that these teams are going to come out and target the Chiefs because we're the AFC champions. And to be able to go on the road, the Giants were reeling, we were reeling. We win by double digits. We come back, the Ravens are reeling, we're still not sure where we are, who we are. We win the game. And then, again, I'll go back to my comment, like I said the last couple of weeks. Take the top 2 receivers off of any team in the NFL. I know there's a lot of noise being made about A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts. Take Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown off of the Eagles and tell me if they're 4-0. We can go through the list of teams. We doubt it. So the fact that we're 2-2 while not having our top 2 targets, figuring things out. And, oh, by the way, we're talking a whole bunch about the offense, and I always navigate towards that. But how about this defense? Mm-hmm. Even in those circumstances against those teams, giving up only 20 points against the Eagles, giving up the 27 against the Chargers, and getting better each and every week. I don't know where those people kind of – how they sleep well at night. I don't know how they sleep well at night. You have peace of mind by being a detractor of the Chiefs. And if we're able to go down to Jacksonville and win on Monday night, be 3-2 coming back home and playing against probably one of, if not the most dangerous teams in the NFL and the Lions, imagine if we win these next 2, what people will be talking about, and we'll go into a situation where Rashee Rice is coming around the corner. That's really when it's going to get spicy.
We're talking to Danan Hughes here on 96.5 The Fan. You mentioned the trip out to Jacksonville, Monday Night Football. The Jags, they're turning everybody over at this point in time, but offensively it hasn't been all that impressive yet. Brian Thomas, we know what he's capable of. It's been a slow start for him. What are you seeing from this Jags offensively as you take a look at them?
I think they're just playing really good complementary football. And when one phase of the game, we've been down that road before. Before we started winning Super Bowls, it was the offense that was carrying a limping defense along. And then it kind of flipped where the defense was carrying a wounded offense or an offense that was dropping a lot of passes along. And you got to the promised land. The Jaguars are +9 in the giveaway takeaway. They're fourth in the NFL in 144 yards rushing per game. Travis Etienne is top in the NFL at 6.1 yards per carry. Like, if your defense is taking the ball away and basically stalling any drive that the offenses or the opposing offenses have, and then you're taking up the clock by running the ball and having a proficient run game, even if Trevor Lawrence isn't playing his best football, and then you got him in a position where last week was the first time he didn't turn the ball over. If they're able to replicate that, there'll be a problem for everybody that they face. Don't turn the ball over. Defense takes the ball away, and you take up a lot of clock with the run game. Like, that's a recipe for success, even in this league where you'd like to see the ball thrown in the air, and it seems like the best teams know how to throw it around. That's the other component of it, where you can run the ball and take the ball away. So we got to protect the football. It's supposed to be somewhat sloppy weather, like 60% chance of rain from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So the entire weekend it's going to be a little bit wet down there, and hopefully we can get an open window where that doesn't affect us in the game. But ball security is definitely going to be at the top of my list.
Danan, we were talking about on the show. What are your feelings about Jacksonville, the city?
This is Josh Klingler's favorite city to visit. Make sure you tell him I said that.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs Radio Network crew, they really enjoy going to Jacksonville.
Sounds like they're all really excited to go to Jacksonville, you know. Can't wait.
I mean, Jacksonville's Jacksonville. Actually, I was actually a part of the expansion draft list back when Jacksonville came into the league back in the mid-'90s. Could have been picked to go down there, but with every pick that they got, a team got to pull a player back, and I want to say I was the second one pulled back by the Chiefs. So my career could have gone totally different direction had I become a Jaguar. Glad I stayed in Kansas City, and glad we're only going to Jacksonville for one night. How about that?
Those first couple of years in Jacksonville were actually kind of fun. The Mark Brunell years, they were a pretty good squad.
Oh, yeah, they definitely. I mean, they were, and Jimmy Smith and Keenan McCardell and Fred Taylor later. I mean, they were a good team. Maurice Jones-Drew, they were solid. Mark Brunell and I came out of college together, so I've known him for years. But yeah, I'm glad I stayed here.
I was gonna say, is Jimmy Smith on the underrated wide receiver list that nobody mentions?
Oh yeah, I mean he was definitely that dude back then. And Keenan McCardell being in that slot, they were a force offensively. And they had some players defensively as well. So, yeah, they've kind of been up and down. We've beaten them the last 8 times we've played them. So they probably have that somewhere in their notes as well. They'll be incentivized to try to take down the defending AFC champion.
So that was Danan Hughes a little bit earlier on today with us. He joins us every Thursday on Cody and Golden. Make sure you listen Monday night. Danan Hughes, Mitch Holthus, Josh Klingler on the call. Live in Jacksonville, what sounds like a very rainy Jacksonville game. Monday we can talk more about what that means for the game as well. If that's going to be the weather forecast, it'll be the first time this year they've had a game in the rain, all that kind of stuff, and how do they handle that and simulate that as best as you can. That's why at training camp they actually kind of like practicing sometimes they can in the rain and all that. You know, typically you would say, run game becomes more important. Ball security obviously becomes more important. Jacksonville turns people over. Jacksonville has the better running game. You know, does that change how you think the script? We can get into that more on Monday.
Look, there's an argument for, as much as I don't like watching it, that the Chiefs should be and often play the most dull version of football imaginable. Earlier, you were talking about the turnovers, and I gave you the stat on how many games in a row the Chiefs have won, 34, without a turnover. That was from Matt Verderam. The actual stats, and you can look them up for Mahomes because it's fairly easy. When his team loses the turnover battle, he has a winning record. He's the only active quarterback in the NFL, probably the only quarterback in NFL history. I didn't go all the way back. 21-16. Winning record when his team loses the turnover battle. When they tie the turnover battles, and both teams just don't turn it over at all on Monday. 26-7. Massive winning percentage when it's just a net whatever, 0. When they win the turnover battle, they're 44-2 in his career. So they just don't lose. Like, the only thing that ever stops the Chiefs, apparently, from winning a football game is if they give it away. And look, that doesn't have to just be Mahomes. And turnovers are going to happen. They are a part of the game. You can't just say, well, I'll just eliminate all turnovers then. Let's just never give the ball away. And this is true for a lot of teams. But nobody wins at the rate. The problem is the Chiefs are so good, Gold, that if they win the turnover battle, well, then you're done. It's definitely over. And for as much as they are the biggest plus minus in the turnover differential in the NFL this year, they have faced teams who like giving the ball away. The Chiefs this year do not like giving the ball away. And Trevor Lawrence has thrown 4 interceptions this year. So it's not like he's been unwilling to give the ball away. This is where this game could turn into a blowout, is if Trevor Lawrence gives the ball away early and the Chiefs are protecting it, that's where on Monday it turns into kind of like a Chiefs ass kicking versus just maybe a Chiefs win. And we'll see which way it kind of goes on that end. But that's, like it's an interesting way to look at them because the Jags right now, we know that their 3-1 record is buoyed by the idea that they've gotten the ball away because their offense has been pretty pitiful overall. Trevor Lawrence has been bad, honestly, if we're just like below average.
You like the chance of the Chiefs defense, of course, keeping them down and keeping that offense struggling. I was looking at some of the totals for the game and everything. The Jags over-under is 21.5 for the game. I think the Chiefs can keep them to 21 or less. And you like your chances if in fact, the Chiefs do that. I believe Danan Hughes has players only tonight as well. So
usually on Thursdays, so yeah.
Make sure you check that out tonight, 6 o'clock. I know they had their debut show last week. But if you want to get more of a player-only perspective and insight, of course, on the game, tonight, 6 o'clock.
So you're not invited on as a guest for players only?
I am not. I am banned. Actually,
Drew, did you play any level of organized football? I played football all growing up, but never organized. Just backyard stuff.
Played soccer and basketball. Soccer and basketball the longest, but I did not play. I did not play football.
I mean, if flag football counts, then yeah. If not, I never played tackle football before.
Yeah, I was also very short and everything for a long period of time, and I never was. Ever considering playing football, quite honestly.
I definitely tried, and my dad wouldn't let me. Baseball was my primary sport, but Gold, we had talked about this. Drew, when you were a kid, because he was saying they played mostly in the street. We played in the street and played two-hand touch, but we regularly, weekly at times, went down to this big field. It was in the back of a church. It was big and flat, and we played full, no pad tackle football, hit each other as hard as you can football. Was that not what everyone did?
No, we always played two-hand touch regardless.
Oh, man, we played I tore a knee in it. Both times I tore my knees early was in backyard tackle football.
I think part of it was my parents' place had the biggest backyard, so everybody would come to our place, but there's a big hill. That was a part of it. So playing tackle, playing two-hand touch also, I guess, was a little sketchy at times. I broke my wrist playing tackle football or playing two-hand touch football. I was running, I guess in this case, down the hill diagonally to run a route. It was raining. Tried to break my fall. Didn't go too well.
I mean, we would play we'd go down to the field. Sometimes we go to the bigger field that had field goal post, and we play full tackle football.
No pads or
with
anything.
One person is center who can be eligible.
You guys
and you would kick. Dude, we played. I'm not kidding. Full tackle football. You could.
You guys trying to spear each other. You're
I try to hit someone as hard as you can. Try to take them
across
down
the middle, and you're just trying to lay them out. Jeez.
Look, I mean, there was a little bit of decorum in the sense that if somebody got really lit up, you'd be like, "Come on!"
Someone says,
Cody's a-hole.
Cody's shouted just extreme on everything.
In my head,
evidently so.
This is one of those things you didn't realize until you had said, and I was going to ask Drew because I was like, wait, is this not how everyone played backyard football? We'd have 7-on-7 full tackle football. When we got enough kids, you'd play one down lineman each and rotate. And so you could rush the passer and have to
no, ours was always two.
You get a 3-point stance and try to go against the guy and make a move.
Two-hand touch. We had a cul-de-sac. Obviously, you're dealing with asphalt and everything there. So and it was just two-hand touch, and that was basically it.
We used to play hockey, street hockey.
Same, yeah.
Because we would put on rollerblades. Everybody would get their rollerblades, and we would play.
I would fall my ass so quickly if I tried to put on a pair of rollerblades right now.
Last time I put on roller skates, I was fine. So I imagine I'd be okay.
I would immediately hit the deck.
I was in ice skates in the last calendar year, and I didn't fall. So I'm guessing I could get on a rollerblade.
I feel like I'd break my ankle just putting the damn thing on and standing up.
I think you'd be better than you think.
I don't know.
You used rollerblades regularly as a kid?
Not regularly. No.
I spent
I think the balance thing would take me a bit to get.
a lot
going
in
again.
rollerblades. I think I'd be. I
Someone
think it'd be
say
okay.
we made fun of the two-hand touch kids.
I guess I thought that's how. I thought everyone was out here tackling each other. Matter of fact,
someone said they had a trophy in their neighborhood. They had a trophy.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I get to avoid CTE of any kind. I'm very thankful.
When
for
we were
that.
little, it was backyard tackle football in the backyard, much smaller field, and my dad would play with us. And my dad played tackle football when we got like a little bit older. We got to like 11 or 12, and one of the neighborhood kids who was bigger than the other 11 or 12-year-olds lit him up. He never played again. My dad retired
I
that
bet
day.
not. I
My
bet